Discover believes in having real people available 24/7 to help answer your questions. Discover, exceptionally common sense.
In 8 days,
Alan Hahn and Bart Scott about to play Jay, Will, and Key in 2-on-2.
A broadcaster basketball showdown.
Yeah, 2-on-2? Let me break this down to y'all.
Keyshawn and Jay Will.
Now we get to Keyshawn. You have gained. You have You ain't in the shape that you used to be in.
Versus Bart and Hahn.
Bart Scott ain't gonna do nothing but foul everybody. He just want to hit people, okay?
ESPN Radio. 2-on-2 challenge.
Oh, hell no.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, let's see. You push this button. The camera's set up. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Welcome in. It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash. Happy, what is it, a Monday? It feels like a normal day. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back, actually. It's been, I was in Florida last week. And I do wish I was still in Florida, but I am glad to be back at the same time. You know, there's been so much going on over the last few months that now I'm able to just focus on trolling all my favorite sports fans out there and, enjoying what we do every day from 3 to 6. But welcome in. It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Jake Whiting says he's back. Yes, I am back, like Texas football. Not really, though, right? Like I am back, though. Excited to be hanging out with all of you here this afternoon. So much to get into. How about this? I started making a list last week. Nora was on me saying you're not allowed to work while you're here. That's fine. Every once in a while, I would make notes on my phone of everything that I'm missing over the last week. Let's see. Ryan Day and Chris Holtmann get a contract extension. Okay, cool. Congratulations to them. Jesse Bates demands an extension or he'll hold out. So I found that to be very interesting. We'll touch on that today. Deshaun met with the NFL for 3 days. Deshaun Watson, Browns quarterback. What will come out of that? We'll get into that coming up here in a moment. Notre Dame, Ohio State kickoff time is officially announced. We'll talk about that. I'm happy, and I know you know why I'm happy, and it should be. This is the kickoff time that should only exist for these types of games. Nick Saban against Jimbo Fisher, and let me tell you what, today we're going to make a WrestleMania card, a WrestleMania lineup out of coaching rivalries. And I believe this would main event the WrestleMania coaching rivalries, if you will. Dayton Flyer announces he's coming back after testing the NBA waters, which I think every player that is, destined to go to the NBA should dip their toes in that water. We'll talk about that. Let's see. What else did I have on here? I mean, the list goes on and on. The Reds, still the Reds, although they look a little bit, they're a better version of the bad version of the Reds, but still bad nonetheless. I mean, there's so much I could talk. How about the OHSAA? Shooting down the NIL, shooting it down. I mean, my goodness, what's going on? It's a weird time where I actually disagree with that type of decision. I would have agreed with it 2 years ago. I think the OHSA is full of it. All right, I think we're caught up. So how are you?
I'm good, man. Been getting a lot of emails, a lot of DMs because you took a break from social media.
We have listeners?
Yes.
See, sometimes, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I was keeping track. My emails blew up, yours blew up. And my boss, my boss was a little annoyed with us because we were getting all these emails asking where the show was. And I said, hey, don't be annoyed. That's a good thing. You thought no one listened to us. So I thought no one listened to us. So that's a great feeling.
So during your break from social media and everything like that, I had to check the station's social media and everything like that. Yeah. And people are blowing us up. Where are you guys? Did Kenner finally get fired? Hope Kev didn't get fired along with Kenner.
If I go down, Kev's coming with me, baby. I'm just saying. It's a team effort here.
So I had to reply to a lot of emails, a lot of messages on Twitter and Facebook and everything like that. But we are back.
We are. And, for those that didn't know, last week or, last weekend, I should say, I got married and we went on our honeymoon and, I'm back. But, I'm really excited because I did something that Joe Burrow hasn't done. Look, I got a ring. Look,
this guy.
Look.
How long you been working on that?
I got a ring. Joe Burrow doesn't have a ring. I have a ring.
How long you been working on that?
Don't matter. Point is, I have one. He doesn't.
Since you asked her to marry you and she said yes.
I'm just saying. Nora got a ring before Joe Burrow. I got a ring before Joe Burrow. I'm just saying. The point is, I have a ring. But yes,
you got a ring before the Cleveland Browns, and they've been around longer than everybody.
It doesn't matter. Look,
Had to defend the Bengals fans out there.
This isn't a Cleveland show. This is a Cincinnati-based show.
Is it?
Bengals fans can't talk. You got to talk more Cincinnati sports. So I do. Now they don't like how I talk about it, but hey, you know what? Got to give them what they want. But yes, you're right. I got a rig before the Browns did. So there you go. But thank you, everybody. I'm glad to be back. And, I didn't realize. I know I have ADD really bad. If you can't tell, I'm rambling a ton. I forgot to even make a plan for today's show. So you're stuck with this type of show for the next 3. I'm joking. I got stuff coming up. But I have no distraction. Like today, I've just been very relaxed. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have to worry about that vendor. I don't have to worry about contacting them. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about that going wrong. I'm just relaxed. So that means I can get back to what I do best, and that's annoying each and every one of you weekdays from 3 to 6. But yes, okay. You know what? Damon Hahn, you're right. Burrow got a ring at LSU. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
The joke I've been waiting to open up the show with for a week and a half, Damon Hahn just ruined. He just ruined it. He did get a ring, too. It's a pretty nice one.
Tigers.
LSU taught him finally how to be a quarterback, and then I'm just saying, I'm just joking.
And a cigar.
So that ruined the whole thing. That ruined the whole joke. Damn it.
Welcome back.
I got to start the show over now. I got to find something else. Ron Howard said, how did you like my Ron Howard, who and I usually we butt heads on this show. He was very helpful. He was sending a lot of, we went to St. Pete for our honeymoon, spent a little time over there. He was sending a lot of suggestions. I didn't listen to any of them, but he sent a lot of suggestions. No, I'm joking. But yes, so Ron, I did enjoy St. Pete.
Did y'all go down to Eborn City?
No, we stayed at, what the heck was the name? Serrata Beach Resort.
Okay.
That's where we stayed.
Nice.
We had plans to leave the resort, but then we got lazy. It's hot as hell, and there's free drinks every day at 6. And, there's plenty of restaurants and things to do here. So I just gained 15 pounds.
It happens.
There you go.
You earned it.
I did. But, it is. So, but thank you, everyone, for all the messages coming in. Jacob Fightmaster says, Seahawks got a ring before you, too. Got it. We all understand. My joke got ruined. I'm a little ticked off. I was so excited about that. Oh, I got a ring before Burrow did thing, and now it's ruined. But all right. So one of my favorite storylines since I was gone, Kev, was this Texas A&M, Alabama recruiting. Not even a scandal, but just your typical rivalry, your typical back and forth. I love this stuff. I love pettiness. I don't know if you know this or not. I love pettiness. I love when coaches act like children. I love when the dislike for another program and another team, it totally overtakes that part of your brain that's saying just say the right thing, do the right thing, be the bigger person. All of that gets thrown out the window when rivalries are involved. And I think we focus so much on doing the right thing and shaking hands in the post game and only saying nice things. Now forget that. That's not how the real world works. That's not how, when we're not on this mic, I'm not saying nice things about everybody all the time. I'm not on nice and chipper like I am every day from 3 to 6 away from the mic. That's not how the world works. When you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. And when you don't like something, you don't like something. And there are times and places of when you can act like, well, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher have. But at the same time, for me as a sports fan, these guys aren't calling out each other's mamas. They're not making it personal. They're making it professionally personal, if that makes sense. They're attacking each other professionally. I have no issue with this. In fact, if anything, I think this has been great for college football. If anything, I think that if anyone out there tells you that there's no need for this in the sport, I think that they're wrong. Because as if we didn't need a reason to watch Alabama or Texas A&M this upcoming season, we now have even more of a reason. We now have even more of a reason to follow this rivalry moving forward, because it's not just a respectful rival out on the field. Now it's a dislike. It's a hatred. It's a rivalry filled with hatred. It's a rivalry filled with now personal animosity. And that drama sells. Drama sells. Why do you think people that say, oh my gosh, I can't believe ESPN and all these sports networks go for these debate formats? You're why the debate formats exist. You're why, because people like drama. That's why people get mad at me for getting onto some of the callers, or when I go back and forth with Mikey and others. Our numbers show that it goes through the roof when those situations happen. I don't try to plan them. Sometimes I could bait them out a little bit here and there, but that stuff works. We like drama. We like to be uncomfortable. I don't know why. We're just weird. We're wired different. But the bottom line is this is good for college sports. Let's think back to when, after Michigan for the first time in like 1,000 years finally beat Ohio State, and Harbaugh came out and made the comment about Ryan Day, right? About was this after they beat them, or was this that some coaches or some people are, they're born on third and they think they hit a triple. Oh man, I love that. Now he's talking about my coach. He's talking about my team, but I love that. I like when Harbaugh gets chippy. Ryan Day bores me a little bit sometimes, because sometimes he doesn't, there was the time he said he was going to drop 100 on Michigan. I'm like, I love that. Say that more. You may not do it. We know it's a little out there, but you know what? If that's the mindset you have going in. I like when coaches hate one another. It doesn't mean that they're going to fist fight when they see each other on the side of the road or in the post game. Maybe they do. Maybe they go out Juwan Howard. I don't know. But I like this. This is good for college football. I'm not saying I want every coach to always have an immature little spat in the media like what we're seeing right now. But at the end of the day, I'm locked in. I'm locked in on Ohio State. Don't get me wrong, but I cannot wait for Texas A&M football and Alabama football. I can't wait because they now have a fire underneath them. The players have it. The coaches have it. The fan bases have it. And guess what? I'm not an Alabama fan, and I'm definitely not a Texas A&M fan. But I'm interested, and anytime a product can get you interested in something that is not the team that you follow, oh, that's money. That's why the NFL is money. I tune in. I'm a Browns fan, of course, but I'll watch any team in the NFL. That's why the NFL's money, because it's not star dependent. We watch all teams. Some teams we don't have an interest in, but you know what I mean? There's enough of the product that's interesting that even it goes beyond your team you follow. That's why the NFL's healthy. The NBA sometimes could be a little unhealthy baseball, is very unhealthy because it's very regional. If the Reds are in it and the Reds are good, we watch. If the Reds are not in it and they're lousy, we don't watch. There's good and bad that comes with that, right? There's a lot more bad than good. College football is now, which was really healthy in the first place. I think it's even healthier now. I love it. I'm curious your thoughts because I know that Jimbo's your former coach at your school at Florida State, but I love it. I love that Jimbo is not putting up with Nick Saban doing his thing. But good for Nick Saban for being mouthy, for speaking out and using his power, because we all know he's the most powerful coach in college football right now. He should say this stuff. Everything he says is for a reason. He had a reason behind it. It might have blown up in his face, but it doesn't mean that he didn't accomplish what he was trying to do. I love it. I can't wait for the season to get here, and it's not even freaking June.
So rewinding a little bit, I watched the clip that went out there is probably like a 30-second clip that went viral. So I went back and I found the whole 60, like the 6-minute clip. So most of the conversation that Nick Saban is having is in basically a booster group for Alabama. So he's speaking to his people, basically telling them, hey, I need more money out of you. You want to keep this gravy train going. You want to keep
goal. He accomplished what he was trying.
You want to keep this thing rolling. You want to keep winning national championships and competing for national championships and everything like that, having the best players, having the number one recruiting class. I'm going to need y'all money. Where he went off the rails for me is saying they pay for these players, and not only A&M and talking about Jackson State pay for players. Like it screams to me the same way he was acting when Oregon had their rise to power and everything like that. They're playing too fast. That's not football. It's unsafe. Guess what Nick Saban does now? Get to the line. Let's run as many plays as we can. Yep. So it's like you said, he's trying to get his point across, and who he's getting his point across to is his constituents to try to raise more money. But it's so much spilled milk when somebody else is coming to the party too. Somebody else is trying to come up with another way of doing things. And now that other programs are getting players and everything like that, and you're not the only guy at the dominant table and having everything at your beckoning call, he's upset. He's angry about it and everything like that. And you're right. Everything he talks and he speaks, he's not only talking to his base to try to get money, but he's also, this is recruiting as well. Don't think for 1 second that every Saturday when you see an Aflac commercial with Nick Saban's face on it, that's not a recruiting tool. He has every advantage in the book in his favor, and he's using that, and that's more power to him. But he's upset that other coaches are now using what they have in their back pocket to get them, because let's be clear, there's a lot more money in the state of Texas than it is in the state of Alabama. You know what I'm saying? There's more money in freaking Los Angeles alone than there is in the whole state of Alabama. So I think Nick Saban is feeling like, all right, man, hey, hold on now. I have my grips on this, and now we got this whole legal situation going on where players can get paid and everything like that. And I don't like it. And I don't like dudes going to HBCUs where they should be going to me and everything like that. I don't like these dudes that should be coming to my school going to A&M. If they were going to Georgia, fine. If they were going to Ohio State, fine. I'll deal with that. But I can't be having them going to A&M and Jackson State and all these other places. So he's not only having a hissy fit, but he's also telling his constituents, I need more money out of y'all if y'all want to keep this gravy train rolling.
See, and here's the thing, too. So I would have more of a problem if Nick Saban didn't have a problem with this. I have no problem with him having an issue with it, although it might be blowing back in his face because of the perception. But let's be honest. When Nick Saban opens his mouth outside of the Roll Tide fan base, everyone hates what Nick Saban has to say. The same way everyone hates what Coach K has to say in college basketball or, LeBron in the NBA, because there's really not that dominant. I mean, Greg Popovich doesn't really – he rubs people the wrong way, but with the Spurs not being as relevant, he hasn't been as front and center as far as having as much of a platform. But my point is usually the dominant coach in each sport, they have anytime they open their mouth, it's always met with a lot of criticism because outside of their own fan base, everyone hates it. You hate the best team in college football. You hate the best team in college basketball, or at least the most popular program, if you will. And that's what Alabama is in football and Duke is in basketball. So no matter what Coach K would say in basketball, people would pile on. No matter what Saban says, people pile on. So my thing with this is I think it's a little bit of that on top of the fact that I would have a bigger issue if Nick Saban, who is used to dominating on the recruiting trail and is used to, he's been able to master this. It's just kind of a well-oiled machine. Now it's not. Now it's getting a little sticky. Now he's having to work again. If that he works, you know what I mean? Now he's having to reevaluate some things. Coach K did this in college basketball during the one and done era when it started. And if you remember, he was very vocal about it and people were ticked. Now Coach K, he sees something that's about to bring down his empire. And now look at him. Now he's afraid. Duke's about to grow. You know what he did? He bitched about it. He complained about it. And then he got over it. He adapted and then he dominated it. He did what Kentucky did, but better. He mastered that because he figured out, okay, you could take the one and dones and then blend it with your veteran players that will stick around for 2 to 3 years. And now you'll have a good balance of youth and experience instead of going the Kentucky route that's just youth and not a whole lot of experience at the key positions. So he took something he complained about and he mastered it. And I think that's what's happening here. I think Nick Saban knows, okay, I'm losing my grip on the well-oiled machine that we've been able to master over the last 5-6 years. Now, it's getting a little, we're having to hold on a little tighter now, but he's just regripping. That's all that's going on here. I think Alabama will be fine the way Ohio State will be fine. There's so many top talents in the country that now you're just going to start to see them disperse a little bit more. More programs are going to come to the table and be ready to eat, which is good for college football. But I don't think this is the sign. People keep saying it's a sign of Nick Saban admitting that he's not as good a coach as he thinks. This is where Alabama falls. No, this might be where Alabama gets better. Because that's what they do, the way Duke got better, the way Alabama's about to get better. I think that it just shows when he calls out Texas A&M. I like it. When he calls out prime time, when he calls out Jackson State, which I know everyone's laughing, saying, what do you care what Jackson State's doing? That's actually a sign of respect, by the way. That's kind of a sign of respect to me. I might view it different than you and some others, Kev, but like the fact that you're acknowledging Jackson State, if I'm prime time, he loves the fact that he's at the adult table now, right? I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean like these programs that don't get the limelight and the attention that some of these bigger programs do. We're talking Jackson State. Nick Saban's bringing them up, right? And now it's because of the job that Deion Sanders has done and the kids that have gone there and the kids that are going there now they're on the radar. Why? Because they're doing something. You're not talking about these no-name HBCU schools or these no-name smaller schools. You're talking about Jackson State because they're getting the bigger coaches' attentions now. So I think that's a sign of respect. I know how you could view it and say, oh, it's disrespectful to that. I actually think it's respect. You're not bringing up teams that aren't a threat to you. And the fact that he's bringing up Jackson State, clearly he sees Deion as a threat. That's a sign of respect to me. I know it's leading to these feuds, but man, I love this. I think it's cool of Nick Saban to call these teams out. I don't think it's the worst thing you can do. Ryan Day is kind of annoying me with the approach that Ohio State's taken NIL because they're very putting their toe in the water. They're not being as aggressive as I'd like them to be. Now, is it costing him anything yet? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing about it. Each state has different rules and different laws and everything like that. So
Wild West over there.
Yeah, in certain states, it's the Wild Wild West, and it definitely is in the state of Texas. And once you're out of high school and everything like that, you can do whatever you want to do. It's still a little murky here in Ohio what you can do. And, the whole thing about the Nick Saban going at Jackson State, I dig what you're saying. I understand your point of view about like this a sign of respect. But for me, I just view it as, I took it as the way it came across is like, and he's going to Jackson State. He's an elite level guy. Like, you don't go there. Like, it just screaming over spilled milk because you didn't get your way. And I don't think that Jackson State has anything to do with what Alabama has going on. They're not even in the same category. They don't play in the SEC. They don't play in the FBS. You know what I'm saying? They are playing the HBCU schedule and everything like that. They're not going to be playing each other. And the simple fact that Deion leveraged his relationship with Barstool Sports to help him get talent, there's no different from what Nick Saban has been doing since he got at Alabama. There's no different from if Ryan Day had something going on with the Columbus Medical Center or something like that to leverage it to get more players. Like, I just don't understand. Well, I do understand why he's upset. I understand why he's upset because he wants the best players and he wants them all the time. But it's just, I always just remember that conversation where when he came out and he was so mad that Oregon was running 100 plays a game. And I'm just like, what? It's like, it's not fair. I was like, what are you talking about? It's in the rules. And just like this is now in the rules. So just like Bray at Notre Dame, the basketball coach said, adapt.
It's like that movie Semi-Pro. You know, when they throw that alley-oop at the end? And everyone's like, what the hell just happened? He can't do that. Why can't he? And then everyone adapts and goes, that's what this is. This is Nick Saban saying, he can't do that. What the hell's happening here? Like, that's exactly what this reminds me of. But if you're just joining us, welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, back after a week and a half hiatus. Excited to be back with you weekdays from 3 to 6 on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. How about you give us a call? You've heard us give our opinion on this. We're live on Facebook, by the way, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, ESPN Dayton's Twitter handle as well. Make sure you go and check that out. Plus, we're on YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. A lot of different ways you can take the show in or stream it at wingam.com. So give us a call, 518-1410. Your thoughts on this Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, WWE style feud that's happening right now. I love it. I love everything about it. I think, when that's what I loved about the Ohio State and the Michigan rivalry. The reason I kept telling Kev is, man, I'm not as into this as I used to be. For one, Ohio State was dominating it, but the coaches weren't talking. It was just kind of, you
here for the drama.
Yeah, that's how I'm wired, by the way. I'm just one of those guys. I'm all about the drama. I'm all about the chaos. And when there's chaos, I'm dialed in. I am dialed in. And right now, I'm not a Texas A&M fan. I'm not a Bama fan, but I'm dialed in. And I think a lot of people are very similar to me in that regards. Not all of us are good people like Kev. Some of us are wired differently, and bad people like me, who we like to watch other people be miserable. So give us a call, 518-1410. Kev and I will be back in just a moment.
Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 68. Tonight's also going to be mostly cloudy, a low near 50. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 75. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, Tom Bodette here. Just thinking about how people all talk to cats the same way. You know, that calming voice, those floofers pretend they can't hear, all cute and standoffish. It does get their motors purring, though. Let's see if it sounds like catnip to your ears when I say, pets stay free at Motel 6 in rooms that are more comfy than a box full of yarn. Do you like that, people? I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, a proud sponsor of pets, and we'll leave the laser light on for you.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, is this line secure?
Franco's cybersecurity firm secured a contract, and that's all we're allowed to say.
We have a green light on hiring.
He needs web security professionals with a military background.
3 teams of 4, 24-hour rotations, but Protocol Zulu is on a need-to-know basis.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Bum, 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 bum. I miss my baby. Someone stole my baby. By the way, my baby is my landscaping truck that was literally stolen from a job site. Baby, won't you please come home?
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with 30-plus customizable coverage options, Progressive Commercial keeps your business humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM. 866-549-TERM. 866-549-TERM.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
See Columbus Equipment Company, 7570 New Carlisle Pike in Dayton.
Ready to make your family meal famous? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for the 16-piece family meal at a great price. You'll get 16 pieces of our classic Famous Recipe Chicken that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked to perfection, along with 4 of our large sides and 8 fluffy biscuits. This is the family meal upgraded. Get the meal with the most when you try our 16-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Wendy's Biggie Bag is just $5. Get your choice of a double stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink, all for $5. U.S. price of participation may vary.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
You know Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty.
Yes, sir.
You know he's also a clergy. You know he also is ordained. You know he married Nora and I was there, and my uncle, who was in position to marry us, got really sick and lost his voice.
Wow.
And you know, Brad, he's the jack of all trades, man. He does it all. You never know what Brad's up to, and he stepped through it. Then I got mad. I was, you can't dress better than the groom. He showed up looking more fly than I did. That's a problem.
I thought it was a part of the wedding party.
No,
when I showed up.
And Nora didn't know either. Nora didn't know because I was like, I didn't want to freak her out. I didn't want her stressing out. So she walked around the corner and sees Brad, and she goes, "What the hell is going on?"
So hold on. She never knew until she's walking down the aisle?
Yep. Brad's he's one of our closest friends, so I knew it would be like a mini surprise for her when she kind of walked around. But then I was a little upset. I was like, well, damn it, Brad, she seems super excited to see you. I'm supposed to be the guy that she's most excited to see, but whatever, it all worked out just fine. But yes, the wedding went off very smooth, and that's all that matters. But yeah, so that was the only hiccup. I mean, we get that call in the morning, like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. He couldn't even talk. He was like this, sound like that. So, but Brad stepped up and did his thing. Yeah.
How'd that conversation go when you called Brad?
I had an idea the night before, to be fair, that there was a chance, and we were kind of drinking and drunk, and we just said it in passing. And I called him the next morning. He's hungover. I said, hey, we don't have time for that. You can't be hungover. You got to, we need you. Calling you out of the bullpen. So he came out of the bullpen, and there you go.
Awesome.
So
that's cool.
He's now clergy. He's a clergy. Now he's Mr. Clergy to me now. So there you go.
So how did you find out that he was ordained?
We talked about it in the past. He's mentioned it in the past, and I kind of forgot about it until
you need it.
Great topics come out when you drink. Drinking does great things. Just saying. Nora was drunk when she said yes, so I'm just saying. There you go. But here we are. Welcome back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Nick Saban against Jimbo Fisher. And the shots heard around the world. I mean, the shots that they're taking at one another, more so Jimbo coming out. I think Nick Saban said some things that kind of like what you talked about, was kind of letting his boosters know, was kind of letting his, his money train know, hey, by the way, you see what Texas A&M just did?
Yeah.
Like Nick Saban's not even saying that he's against it, by the way. Like, that's the crazy thing. Nick Saban's not even really saying that he's against it. What he is trying to say to his boosters is, you see what they're doing? If you want us to keep up with that, you're going to have to do it too. Texas is a huge state. Yeah. There's money all over the place. Alabama is the king of football right now, yes. But if you look at resources, Texas A&M and Texas and these Texas schools, they have more resources to be Alabama than Alabama has to be Alabama with the way that the game is played today. So, and you were kind of saying, so you don't think,
so
you think he doesn't like what they did?
I'll say this.
Because he's been kind of doing that already.
Right.
Just sneaky.
But the biggest part that rubbed me the wrong way, not anything that he said about A&M, not the stuff that he said about Jackson State. That was like, all right, man, you kind of hating. But, that comes with the territory. I mean, coaches hate on each other left or right to try to get recruits and everything like that. That's par for the course. The line that irked me the most is said, yeah, I wanted the days that it used to be, how every team had a chance to win a national championship, where there was parity in college football. And I said, what? If you want parity, you go to the NFL, you go to NHL, where in the NFL, you can go from worst to first or second, like the Bengals. They made it to the Super Bowl. Or in NHL, I can't tell you how many times an 8 seed has won the Stanley Cup. A ton of times. That happens all the time. Parity is not something that happens in college football. Parity has never been a part of college football. College football has always been about the elite programs. And back in the days where, the Yales and Harvards and, Michigans of that era, those were the dominant programs until it slowly transitioned into the teams of the South with Alabama and Texas and Oklahoma and obviously Ohio State heydays and everything like that. It has always been about being elite, especially at the college level, not only in college football, but in college basketball as well. So parity does not exist in college sports. Parity only exists in the NFL and NHL.
Yeah, that I'll agree with you 1,000,000% on, because this idea, this is why I get annoyed at the college football playoff expansion conversation. If there's only one excuse you're allowed to have for why you want college football playoff expansion, because you just do. But don't give me no dumb reason about it's more fair for schools. There's no such thing as fair in college athletics. There's no such thing as parity in college athletics.
Right.
That's why I like, if your reasoning for college playoff expansion is because there's more good games to watch in the playoff, although I would disagree. I would agree that there would be better games to watch in the playoff or more games at the expense of the regular season, in my opinion. But that's why, I'd counter with that. But like for those that want to waste my time and say, well, it would, it's more fair. It's not fair the way it is now. Well, that's fine that you think it's not fair now. And I agree that it's not fair, but there's also not an alternative solution to it being fair at all. There's no such thing as fairness in college athletics. And there's no such thing as, especially with Nick Saban saying, that there's more of an opportunity where there's more teams that have a chance. That's never been the case. If anything, this is actually helping with that. I don't think it's making college football more fair, but I think it's allowing more teams to have their heart broken at the end of the year come Selection Sunday. Like I said, this past year, Cincinnati made the playoff, and I was disappointed that the committee got bailed out. I wasn't disappointed that the Bearcats made it because they should have made it. I'm being honest, like there was who else were you going to put in? Now that might sound like a slight, but I'm being honest. Like there was no other team to put in. The committee got bailed out because Cincinnati just you were able to drop them in. There was no alternative team to put in. You couldn't justify putting a 2-loss non-Big Ten champion Ohio State in over them. That wouldn't have made sense. You couldn't put Oklahoma in. You couldn't put these teams in over them. But man, what this might do now is there's going to be teams at the end that have one loss that are conference champions, or one loss non-conference champions that lost in a close one against Alabama or an Ohio State. There's going to be more teams now parity-wise that are in the hunt for the playoff. It doesn't mean that there's more going to be parity-wise for national championships, but I think there's more parity for the college football playoff because of this. I think it makes it interesting. Here's an interesting take from Lamar Shelley on Facebook, Kev. Lamar Shelley on Facebook says he doesn't like the added pressure that it's talking about Nick Saban. He doesn't like the added pressure that money brings to force coaches to play certain players now. A typical red shirt might bring attention from alumni or donors to pluck right away or to play right away. It takes away his availability to control everything in a way. That I agree 1,000,000%. This is a good thing for college football, though. Gone are the days where you're going to have a quarterback room of Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones. Gone are the days that you're going to have a JT Barrett, a Dwayne Haskins, and a Cardale Jones. You know what I mean? Like gone are the days that you're going to have a Joe Burrow and a Dwayne Haskins. And I know I'm missing some obvious names in there too. Like gone are those days where you are going to have these quarterback deep rooms anymore because of that right there. Guys aren't coming in to sit for 2 or 3 years until they get their Mac Jones opportunity. And I've thought that was bad for college football. I thought it was very bad for college football that so many of these quarterbacks were sitting as second and third stringers, even Mac Jones, a fourth stringer, who was sitting there just desperately waiting for these guys to get the hell out of his way. And look what happened. Mac Jones was the best quarterback in college football that year. So, that's what I mean is now all of a sudden these Mac Jones, he's starting over here. Jalen Hurts is starting over here. Joe Burrow's starting here. JT Barrett's here. Dwayne Haskins here. Cardale Jones here. I'm spreading them all out, but you see my point. Gone are the days where you are now stockpiling talent at positions because now these kids have options. So I think this is a good thing. I think now instead of stockpiling talent, that talent is going to go where they can have opportunities to play right away. And I think that's a win for college football. So I agree with you, Lamar.
This happened before, back in the day, like in the late 70s and early 80s and everything like that. Scholarship limits used to be at 100. Used to be able to have 100. It's at 85. Used to be able to have 100 guys on scholarship. So, remember, or you probably don't remember, but our older listeners can remember, Oklahoma, not Oklahoma, but Nebraska will have, Terry Rozier in the backfield and then have another 5-star behind him and then another 5-star sitting behind him. And it was just a plug of dudes that just come in there and rush for over 1,000 yards and 100 yards a game and everything like that. Those days ended then where they said all right, to try to create some type of parity, we're going to cap the number of scholarships at 85, which led guys to all right, well, I'm not about to go to Nebraska and sit. Well, I can go to Waco and play, you know what I'm saying, like that. So this could spark that. This could spark that opportunity for guys that are thinking about coming to maybe an Ohio State or a Penn State to say, well, they already got so-and-so playing quarterback. He's only a redshirt freshman. He's going to be playing for 2 more years. I'm going to be waiting. Man, I'm about to go to Michigan State. I'm about to go to Indiana and maybe build that program up. So when we talk about parity, maybe that's something that could possibly happen. But this has happened before when they reduce scholarship limits.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. But yeah, Lamar, that's a good point. I definitely think that's the case. And here's the other thing I'm going to say about this. So David M, real quick on YouTube, Kev, he chimes in and says that Saban's comments were soaked in hypocrisy, jealousy, and fear that other schools will now be able to recruit against him a bit better. Maybe I think we word that aggressively, like Nick Saban's afraid that Nick Saban is God in college football, as Jimbo said, right? But I don't think these coaches are afraid. I think to be great. You know how long you have to do something to make it a well-oiled machine to where you're the best at what you do, and then all of a sudden when something happens and it alters it, it's kind of like the example I used of Coach K earlier. Coach K was dominating college basketball. Then the one and done era started, and then he started losing out on all these top talents because he didn't want the kids that were only going to come for 1 or 2 years in bounds. He wanted program guys, right? And then he saw the success that these other teams were having, and he's like, man, for us to keep on pace with what we've been doing, I got to adapt and do it better than everyone else. And he did. And I think that's what Nick Saban's going to do. But here's the thing. What makes you guys are ripping the qualities of these coaches that make them great. Every great athlete, every great coach, every great singer, every great businessman, every great whoever, they are petty. They are jealous. That's what fuels them. We sit here and we watch this documentary on Michael Jordan, who he would pick on these no-name, talentless dudes, and he would make up things in his head about, he just said he just said he was going to punk me. He just said he was going to do. He would make up things in his head just to go at these guys. That's as petty as ever. You guys drool over, Michael Jordan. Can you believe he did that? What a guy. What a guy. He makes up stuff. He's going at these weaker players, man. What a guy. Nick Saban does it. At least, he's at least going at Jimbo Fisher. He's going at Deion Sanders. Oh, man, what a petty loser. What an idiot. What a this. No, that's what these guys do. They're uber competitive. They sometimes, this is how they're wired. The reason that he's coming out like this is what makes him great is because things have been going on a certain way for a certain amount of time. Now it's changing. Who wouldn't be pissed? Who wouldn't be pissed if all of a sudden everything's rolling your way and then something changes and now you have to adapt, except he did it publicly. And that's really, he opened himself up. He made himself vulnerable to the public, to guys like you and I, Kev, to national media, local media and whatnot. And that's really what it comes down to. I have no issue, like I said, with him going at Jimbo, like I said, because they're doing what we like. And that's guys being real. Nick Saban's being real. Nick Saban didn't have to say this for us to know that that's what he's thinking.
Yeah. And the other part about it is, like I said, I watched the whole 6-minute clip, a 6-minute clip of it. And probably for 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the clip, the anger that Nick Saban was spewing out, or the dislike he was spitting out, was towards the NCAA. And the real culprit in this situation, and the person the organization he's most mad is the NCAA. But, that's not going to push the button. That's not going to get, college football fans riled up. Going at other coaches, going at other programs, that's going to get people riled up. He was just saying, they just came out, basically same thing that we said on the show back when they rolled out NIL and everything like that. Is like, all right, they just said at the stroke of midnight on one day, this is legal, and they had nothing in plan, and now it's the Wild Wild West. And we as a school and a program had to come up with ideas about how to keep things in line and how to make sure we got our I's and T's and everything crossed and everything like that. And then he was like, and A&M, they bought everybody on their player. Like, I just thought he was just talking, and more he was talking. It was just like building up in him, and he just said it. Yeah. And everybody in that room loved it because guess what? They're Alabama fans.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it, and that's just the thing, too. By the way, we hate what Nick Saban said, and some of us hate what Jimbo Fisher said because we hate them because not because we hate them, but we hate them because they're not us. But I promise you this much. If Ohio State had the number one recruiting class and they spent the most NIL money than any other program out there, Buckeye fans, would you be anti-Jimbo Fisher? Would you be anti-Ryan Day if he did what Jimbo Fisher did? No. And if Michigan was doing what Texas A&M did and Ryan Day said these same things that Nick Saban did, you would be defending Ryan Day. So that's why I'm like, I don't get all fired up about these things because it's all through the scope of who's your team. It's not what we believe is actually right and wrong. It's just we believe how's it impact us? That's basically what it comes down to. And right now, I think we're sitting pretty in the Big Ten. I don't think that's why no one's losing sleep about what Texas A&M and Alabama's doing. But I promise you this, if Ohio State is the Alabama of the Big Ten, right? So if Michigan or Michigan State all of a sudden started out recruiting Ohio State and because of NIL, you don't think Ryan Day and Gene Smith and the Ohio State fans would react the same way Alabama is? No, we would do it, and we do it louder because it's what we do. So I don't have an issue with that. And by the way, I know you don't like when we say that they bought these, but maybe it's aggressive phrasing, but they spent money. They spent more money than any other school and got the number one recruiting class. I mean, it goes together, right? Like, for instance, I talked about this. I know RG3 tweeted this out over the weekend, and I thought it was a little aggressive. I said it was a little dramatic when he talked about, being bought, talking players being bought like property. And I said, look, I get where you're going with that, and I don't like it because we do this in other sports. When the Yankees spend more money than any other team in baseball, what do we say? They bought their World Series, right? When the Miami
Heat won in 20 years,
yeah, so they've tried, they've spent money, but when the Miami Heat got LeBron James and D Wade and Chris Bosh, and they spent all that money there, they bought that championship. The Lakers, they buy their championships. So I think I think the reason we're uncomfortable with saying that colleges are buying these student athletes is because of how young they are. And it's uncomfortable talking about 18, 19-year-old kids, which it shouldn't, by the way, but we're uncomfortable talking about it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I kind of disagree with RG3 as well, because if you want to play this game, and accept the money, you're going to have to accept some of this rhetoric that comes with it as well. You're going to have to accept some of that comes with it as well. Like, I know that everybody out there, every student athlete has like this great structure at home and everything like that, where mom and dad are, helping them and advising them and making sure money doesn't get spent all willy-nilly and everything like that. But, once we are going to accept taking this money from whomever for this NIL deal, then you're going to have to start accepting what comes with it. And some of that is backlash from fans. Some of that is backlash from other fan bases talking about you got bought and everything like that. That kind of comes with the territory. I may disagree with it. And I may personally think like, man, that's a messed up thing to say, but that's kind of like what comes with it. And another thing that comes with it, especially from the Texas A&M point of view, you got players, you got the number one recruiting class, and some people are saying the best recruiting class of all time. You know what else comes with that? Expectations.
Yep.
Expectations come with that. So you got the number one recruiting class. I'm not saying you need to win a championship this year, but you need to win a championship within the next 3 years. Because this recruiting class has to win a national championship for it to be a success. Because guess what? If you don't, the boosters are going to be like, hey, man, hold on now. We didn't got you these players. We didn't spend all this money. Wait a minute. We need some hardware. We all need an SEC championship at minimum. And we want to hoist the big boy trophy. So all that comes with pressure on Coach Jimbo Fisher and all these other coaches out here that have deals lined up for players to come in for their schools and everything like that. So we talked about it last year with Georgia, all their expectations. Probably by July, I have my top 5 teams that definitely need to win a national championship or their season is a bust.
I agree with you on that. That's for sure. But yeah, it's like, and it's uncomfortable, anytime race is brought up, to revert back to this last thing here, that the RG3, bought like property. And other analysts have gone this route too, of the undertones that are being used. And I disagree. I don't think that that's the situation. Look, before the undertones we were getting mad at African-American student athletes for going to schools for free, and then now they're getting paid, and now we're trying to phrase it as we're using phrases like being bought. I don't know. Look, the bottom line is they spent more money than anyone else, and you're buying. If they go on to win a championship, Kev, yes, they bought a championship. And by the way, nothing wrong with that, because if the rules allow you to spend money,
it's legal now, bro.
Good for you. Like
it's legal, yeah. And you're showing your fan base that you're willing to do whatever it takes to win a national championship, and especially now that it's legal. You know what I'm saying? Like I know programs out there that dabble with the cheating stuff or crossing the line stuff and everything like that. But now that it's legal, more programs out there are willing to, push it to the limit. Like, well, shoot, we can't get in trouble. We can't be put on probation because it's legal. So let's give it a shot. I mean, shoot, you saw what happened with, who was it? Eastern Michigan. They offered Williams from Oklahoma $1 million to come to Eastern Michigan. If Eastern Michigan got $1 million out here to give Caleb Williams, other programs too. And that's a MAC school. So if they got $1 million out here floating around, a whole bunch of other programs got money too.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We are also Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds and Cubs. Coming up later on tonight, 6:40 the first pitch, 6:10 coverage begins right here on 1410 Wing AM. We close out hour number 1 on the other side in just a few moments. And when we come back, as we prepare for tonight's Reds-Cubs series, it gets underway at 6:40 first pitch time. Got a couple unusual Reds stats. Did you know that the Cincinnati Reds will fill in the blank when we come back to close out hour number 1? Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
That rosé you recommended was a hit. What should we try for more fun in the sun this weekend?
This silver tequila makes a refreshing tequila sunrise.
Perfect. Wow, that price is refreshing too.
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freights, new equipment. Call Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you stop?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. Get $750 lease loyalty cash on all new Hondas and as low as 1.9% financing on the 22 Honda Pilot and 22 Honda Passport. Remember, we can get the new Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Hey,
Reds Cubs coming up here 2 hours from now, or 2.5 hours from now, I should say. 6:40 the first pitch. 6:10 coverage begins right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Back with you after a 1.5 week hiatus. I'm officially married now. I had this big joke about getting a ring before Joe Burrow, but then as Joe Burrow fans do, they always have his back, and they came at me and they corrected me. He does have a ring. He won a title at LSU, so whatever. Point is, I got a ring. Point is, I got married.
How many people asked you, how was the honeymoon? Because you guys got back when? When did you guys get back?
Friday.
How was the honeymoon?
Honeymoon was fine. Like, her and I, we don't like to do much. Like, we're not very outgoing. Like,
no,
on the beach all damn day. That's all. I mean,
you look like it.
Yeah. I'm half Hispanic. Do I have a Hispanic tone? To
Yes,
now?
you do.
Good.
Your heritage is coming out.
Yeah,
looks good on you.
People don't believe it. They think I'm joking, and I'm like, in today's day and age, you don't make jokes about that. I'm just saying, like, I'm just like, it's not like like I'm just being honest with you here. I mean, my goodness, but yeah, now people might believe me a little bit more, as if I'm just saying. So it is what it is. Where the hell were we? See. When they start talking like that, I got to be careful because then I will get in trouble. So I'm just like, whatever, get back on track. That's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. So the Reds and Cubs coming up, Kev, here in a little bit. And, it's interesting is the Reds currently sit here right now with 12 wins on the season. Okay. 12 wins on the season. And they're still, at the bottom of the NL Central. And what's crazy, 12-28. Remember, they were 3-22 or whatever to start the season. They're playing a little bit better baseball. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. But what's funny is they've won 6. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. They're 12-28. They still have the worst record in Major League Baseball. And I don't believe that they're actually the worst team in Major League Baseball, but right now the Nationals are 14-28. But I think that the Reds, there's still a good chance, Kev, that we look at the Reds as being so terrible. But, the Cubs and Pirates each only have 4 more wins than the Reds do at this point. If the Reds take 2 or 3 from the Cubs starting tonight, all of a sudden, not only could the Reds finish with a better – I mean, it's starting to look as if the Reds, as they get healthier and get guys back, the Reds could almost finish with a better record than not just one team in their division, but possibly 2 teams in their division. Like, they're playing better baseball. They actually look like I know this sounds funny. This is such a loser thing to say. They went from looking like not even a Major League Baseball team to now just a typical bad baseball team. Like, they just look the bad baseball team part. They're going to win some, they're going to lose some. Before, it didn't even look like they deserved to be out on the field. But yeah, they've won 6 of the last 10. Not making excuses. They are healthier. But yeah, they They have they're 12-28, and the Cubs and the Pirates are both 16-24. All I'm saying is all of a sudden you look up, you think that the Reds are just so far down at the bottom, and there's no one even close to them. Cubs and Pirates in their own division are only 4 games ahead of them. I mean, I don't know. The Reds aren't going on no playoff run by any means, but here's a couple stats that unusual Red stats, if you will. Not really unusual, but I think most people would believe that, okay, this sounds about right. The Reds don't have one player in the top 50 of highest batting averages in the league, Kevin.
Not the 150?
Not in the top 50.
Oh, top 50. About to say the top 150
batting averages in baseball. The Reds don't have one player in the top 50.
Ouch.
The Reds only have one player in the top 50 in the home runs category. Drury has 7. That's it.
How many home runs does Votto have? Because I saw something.
Hit his first one over the weekend.
So that was right that I saw in the news this morning. It was
only his first one, but he's missed a lot of games too.
Right.
He's been atrocious. He finally, going up against his hometown team in Toronto, he looked like a Major League Baseball player all of a sudden again. So, but he's been banged up in his defense. But yeah, only one player in the top 50 as far as home runs is concerned, and that's Drury, who has 7. The Reds as a team, Kev, are hitting .218. Only 2 teams have a lower batting average. The Diamondbacks hitting .212, and the Athletics hitting .205. I mean, I know that the Reds are bad, but I just find it interesting to know that there are other teams who are actually worse than the Reds. Maybe not record-wise, but that's how bad they were to start things off in April. The Reds do have the worst ERA in baseball. Their problems don't only stem at the offensive end, with the bat in their hands. On the mound, it's not that much prettier. 5.61, their league worst ERA. The Reds have also given up the second most home runs in the league. Only the Mariners have given up more home runs than the Reds at 56. The Reds have given up 52. There you go. You look at some of these things, it's like, well, it kind of surprised me now that the Reds are as bad as they are. But I also think that if you shrunk the numbers and do what losers do, and you just find a pool of numbers that fit your narrative.
I got one for the narrative.
The Reds have not been as well. Be quiet about your Indians.
No.
Your Guardians.
Y'all swept us.
What?
We swept y'all down in Cincinnati. Y'all swept us in Cleveland. But I got a stat.
Okay. Stat it up.
The Reds are 7-6 since Kenner left. So just like always, when Kenner goes away, the Reds play better baseball. The Reds are above 500 since you left. So and now that you're back in town, guess what's going to happen with the Reds? Nosedive.
Well, actually, they lost. No, they won yesterday.
They won yesterday.
But the day I got back, they lost. And then Saturday they lost. And they lost. And they won on Sunday. So, yeah. But no, I thought about that earlier. Remember what 2 years, the year that they made the playoffs in 20, it was the year went to Pensacola that summer. And the Reds, one of the last shows we did was me just ripping David Bell and ripping the Reds because they weren't going to make the playoffs, how horrible they were. And then they won like 8, 9 straight or something crazy to close out the regular season. They made the playoffs, and then they had that embarrassing exit. But that was that last year, Trevor Bauer, of course. But no, they went on that win streak, and then they go on another little 7-6 run. Well, I'm out. So there you go. I'm glad I could do my part.
Hashtag.
With as poor as the Reds have been, I'm the real Reds MVP this year. I should be in the All-Star game. I've contributed to more.
You should be their pick.
Yes,
you should be their player.
That is
what position you play?
Bench. If it's T-ball, though, I'd tear that up. I'm just saying. I could T-ball it up with the best of them. Softball, still no. It's a weird angle. And I'm little, so I have to swing up the ball. It's like I'm swatting at a bug.
Aim high.
Yeah. Then I would chop it down. And I'm too fat to get to first base before they throw me. It's horrible. T-ball. That's my game. Hour 2 coming up next.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole in one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV.
You can't be all working up, play.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Are you dreaming of something greater? A college degree, job skills, a rewarding career? The Ohio Army National Guard can help you get the education you need to land the career you've always wanted. The Ohio National Guard Scholarship Program could pay 100% of your college tuition. You're eligible for the scholarship as soon as you enlist. Learn more about the many benefits that come with serving in the Ohio Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com today. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Rob's Beer Barn is stocked with the newest summer seasonal beers and refreshments. That means Rob's Beer Barn has you covered for all your Memorial Day needs. At Rob's, you can find all the ice-cold refreshments you'll need. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wines, snacks, and ice. Plus, Rob's has apparel. Rob's has it all. For last-minute items, you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn on Indian Ripple Road at Darst, just a mile east of the Green. Rob's Beer Barn, just look for the beaver.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Creative Foam is now hiring for production positions in Dayton, Ohio. They offer a competitive starting wage and great benefits. Visit creativefoam.com to apply and start your new career today.
A lot of players in the NFL not reporting to offensive team activities, not offensive team activities. What the hell is OTAs?
Voluntary workouts.
Voluntary workouts. So, but either way, they're not reporting to these workouts, and of course, that's dominating on the headlines. One of those names, of course, Jesse Bates. Some other names on this list: Kyler Murray. That's a problem. See, there's some positions that I think it's good to be a team leader and show up to these things, but there's just that one position that I think you don't have a choice. Like, I think you're letting your locker room down more than anybody else. If you're a quarterback and you don't show up to these things, I think that's the worst thing you can do. The Jesse Bates thing doesn't bother me as much. I know everyone's waiting for me to find an excuse to bash the Bengals. Jesse Bates, and I don't know why I'm like that with quarterbacks, Kev, but if you want to be the face of your organization and you want to be the face of the league, and quarterbacks get held to a higher standard, I think it's wrong that Kyler Murray's not reporting to OTAs. Same thing, Jesse Bates not showing up. Okay, I get it. His reasons aren't any different than Kyler Murray's, but Kyler Murray just sounds dirty that he doesn't show up. Deebo Samuel not showing up. I don't know why I have this mindset of, if you're a quarterback, suck it up, Buttercup, and get there. You look at guys like Dak Prescott, who I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott fan. Like, I don't dislike Dak Prescott. I just wasn't a fan of my team making him one of the highest paid QBs in the league. I don't think he's that bad, but I also don't think he's as elite as everyone says he is. But he showed up, Kev. He didn't sit out.
Right.
And that to me is what ultimately got enough fans to pressure the organization into getting it done. The media was pro Dak Prescott. The fans were pro Dak Prescott. And Jerry Jones was, I'm not going to say guilted into getting that done, but I do think he was pressured into getting that done because there was no excuse not to get a deal done with Dak Prescott other than if you just truly felt he wasn't good enough, which if he held his ground on that, I would support that. Not many would. But it's hard to support Kyler Murray right now, Kev. It really is. Like, you are a quarterback. You could still be fighting for your contract, all while still holding out and holding out your responsibilities to your teammates as a leader. But all you're doing is adding fuel to the fire and the reports and the rumors of, well, everything that you're doing now, not being a leader, only being a you guy. But he's not wrong for going after his money. But like, why is it okay that I'm saying that, okay, it's okay for Jesse Bates and not Curtis Samuel. Holy smokes, I'm losing my mind. Deebo Samuel and these guys to hold out, but it's not okay for Kyler Murray to hold out. Am I wrong in saying that quarterbacks should be held to a higher standard?
Quarterbacks are the leader of the team. No matter how good they are, no matter how much trash they are, they're still the leader of the team. They're still the face of the organization. They're 9 times out of 10, they're the player that people think of when you mention a team. You know what I'm saying? So if I mention the Cleveland Browns, first guy you think of is
Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson.
If I mention the Cincinnati Bengals, first player you think of is,
of course, Mr. Joey B.
So that just goes without saying. So I'll play devil's advocate real quick before I give my opinion. What part of voluntary workouts where does that end and begin? Because voluntary means, hey, I can come or not come because I'm volunteering to come or volunteering not to come. So for a quarterback, voluntary workouts is not voluntary. In your mind, it is mandatory.
Well, I'll look at it like this. If you own a business or if you think about wherever you work, a lot of times you don't get a raise. If you look at your job description, a lot of times you're not going to get a raise for doing what's in your job description. Let's be honest. A lot of times you get a raise for the things that you go above and beyond for. Like, yes, I'll never forget, I had a coworker one time here years and years ago. He's no longer here, but I remember he would show up and he'd brag about, I was on time 3 days in a row this week. And my boss at the time.
Do I know this person?
I'm not going to.
We'll talk off there.
I'm not going to give you a high five for doing your job and showing up on time. Like, and I agreed with my boss on that. I'm like, you don't show up to work and, hey, boss, I hosted my show today. Okay. Hey, boss, I showed up to work today. Okay. Like, you don't get raises for doing the things that you should. You usually get raises and you get, held to, you get viewed at differently and more respect for the things that you do, that you go above and beyond what your job description is. And the common sense things, like, I don't know, showing up on time. So that's where I'm at with Kyler Murray. I know it's voluntary. And I think that's such a dangerous word, by the way, because we know none of this is voluntary. We know that this will be used against you in contract negotiations and all of that, which would, as an agent and as a player, I'd be like, wait a minute. So you're going to tell me I don't have to be here. And then when I don't show up, you're going to use that against me in contract negotiations, right? What happens if your company doesn't have a policy that you have to show up to work every day, that you can work remotely, but then they question you on how come you haven't been in the building in a while, right? Like those types of things are annoying, right? Like, so that's what I mean. So Kyler Murray, yes, I know it's voluntary, but when you are the leader, you are held to a higher standard than everyone else. There are certain things that you got to do that go above and beyond your job description. And that means showing up to voluntary workouts. Yes, you want to get that contract done. And at the end of the day, you're a player, you're a quarterback, you're most likely going to get your deal.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, can you think of when's the last time a quarterback didn't get a deal done? I can't think. Not Baker. I'm talking about he shot himself in the foot. So maybe I did just give an example. But Kyler's going down that Baker route, where you're becoming your own worst enemy. You're raveling out of control. That's the part, like, I can't get on board with Kyler Murray. So I don't understand where you're coming from with the devil's advocate thing, but let's be real. And even our boring, everyday, regular people jobs, we don't get raises for doing our job description well. We get raises for going above and beyond the things that aren't in our job description, being a good coworker, being a good leader, being a helping hand, stuff that, is annoying that you shouldn't have to do to get a raise, but that's just the reality of it. And that's how I view this quarterback situation with Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, any quarterback that is skipping team organized events like this, even they're voluntary or not. When you are the glue that makes this thing go, I have a huge problem with that.
Even if it's
the Bengals will be good this year. Jesse Bates shows up or not, it's a hit if he's not there. They're going to be good this year, one way or another. You would like him there, but I'm not as angry as him for not showing up. I don't hold him to the same standards I do a quarterback. You got to show up because the team lives and breathes by your presence on the field.
There's so many examples where team leaders still show up for these type of things. So you look at Dalvin Cook. He didn't participate in a lot of these because, he's working on a new contract and everything like that. But he was still there in in physical form and everything like that. Last year with TJ Watt, he never practiced with the team during, camp leading up to the season before his contract got worked out, but he was there. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many cases. Even Deshaun Watson showed up to camp with the Texans and he never played all season and everything like that. He was still there. So there's a lot to be said, and there's a lot that it can be worked out behind the scenes to say, like, all right, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there in the physical. That doesn't mean I'm going to practice. I'll be in the meeting rooms. We can do the lifting the weights thing, but practice I won't be doing that. Like, if he did that, I really wouldn't have a problem with it. Think there's a lot to be said for being there with your guys.
Yep.
I mean, you just drafted, I don't know how many draft picks they had, but let's just throw out a ballpark number. Say they drafted 5 new guys and say 3 of those dudes are in the top 3 rounds and everything like that. Those guys are going to be expected to make an impact on your football team. And some of those guys could be offensive players that you need to build a rapport with. And a rapport isn't always just with your actions on the field and everything like that. There's that camaraderie in the locker room and all that type of stuff. So being there for your teammates goes a long way and everything like that. And to speak on your point about guys not getting a contract, he's going to get a contract. He's going to get a contract. If it's with the Cardinals, maybe with somebody else, but he's played well enough to receive that next contract and everything like that. But I don't think he's doing himself any favors getting that contract by not showing up right now. Like, being there, putting a good foot forward and everything like that, I think that can go a long way. I think that he should be there. I think all players should be there, for voluntary workouts and everything like that. But the extent of what you're going to do, you can leave that up to, you and your agent and the organization to say, look, man, I'm here for the guys, but I'm not going to be doing X, Y, and Z until I get my contract worked out. And there's been cases, especially like a guy like Big Ben, who's just recently retired, been in the league for X amount of years. He hasn't shown up for voluntary workouts, but it's kind of like he got a hall pass or whatever. Like, you work that out behind the scenes with the organization. Say, like, yeah, got plans with the fam. We're going to Costa Rica. Not going to be able to make it to voluntary workouts this year. All right, Ben, see you later. But I guess that comes with a whole bunch of clout. And I don't know if Kyler Murray has that clout right now.
And keep in mind, this is also a quarterback that was in the MVP conversation the first half of the season. Right. The second straight season was a part of an epic collapse. The Cardinals went out in embarrassing fashion in the playoffs.
Scott Hook interception.
They barely made the playoffs. And I'm not an anti-Kyler. I like Kyler Murray. I've seen more good than bad, but the bad has come at the worst times. Like, the timing is bad, if you will. You talk about that clout. He's not Big Ben. He's not a Tom Brady. He is not a guy that has won the respect of his locker room yet,
right?
Or the fan base. Like I said, Dak Prescott did that. Dak Prescott still showed up to workouts. Dak Prescott, he knew he showed up to work every day with a smile on his face because he knew, hey, Jerry, you don't give me this money. I know this is the difference in the lack of confidence in oneself. I think Dak was confident. I'm going to get a deal, whether it be you, Jerry, or some other team. Kyler Murray doesn't believe he's going to get that deal.
You think?
I mean, why else would you do this or it just comes down to Dak's a better leader because Dak knows, hey, I got to do me. I got to take care of me, but I can't do it at the expense of what I'm set out to do. And that's to win a Super Bowl. And I can't do that if I'm not out on the field with my guys when I'm not injured.
I think the best part about Dak Prescott is his leadership. And I think he's a very good football player. I think he's a very good football player, but I think his leadership and his guys willing to do things that they wouldn't necessarily do for other players because he's willing to do those things. He's willing to show up and play without a contract extension and get his leg snapped in half and everything like that. I think his leadership is up there with Russell Wilson, to be honest. Now, his play may not be up there with Russell Wilson, but his leadership, I think, it definitely is. As far as Kyler's concerned, he's got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go, not only his on the field play, but his leadership as well. Because, those are some of the things that were brought up about him in the draft process and, his days at Texas A&M and everything like that. And furthermore, with everything that goes on with Kyler Murray, everybody knows the Cardinals start out super hot. They always start out hot and they fizzle as the season goes. Is that a product of Kyler Murray's size? Something that he really can't do anything about. He is the size that he's going to be is what it is. But is it the style of offense? Because that offense fizzles out throughout the regular season and everything like that. So it's a lot that they got to figure out with the Cardinals, not only with Kyler, but the coaching staff as well.
And that's such a dire situation because very similar to the Browns before Deshaun Watson, the Browns had invested so much money into talent on that roster. And it's like, if you didn't have a quarterback that you believed you could win with, you wouldn't have gone out and got all that talent. You wouldn't have spent as much money in free agency. And the Browns believed in Baker at that time, which is why they went out and got all those pieces. Same thing with the Cardinals. They wouldn't have gone out and got J.J. Watt. They wouldn't have gone out and got all the, Hopkins. They wouldn't have gone out and got all these pieces on both sides of the ball to go out and win if they didn't feel like they had the most important piece to do it. And I don't know who's the backup quarterback in Arizona. I haven't even checked.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Trust me. It's not the mentality of, well, that's fine. Colt McCoy has weapon. No, if Colt McCoy was their quarterback from the start, they don't have a quarterback. That's what that means. They wouldn't have made that trade for Hopkins. They wouldn't have they wouldn't have made that effort to go get J.J. Watt. They wouldn't have spent the money, on the pass rushers that they have. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So Kyler Murray is the straw that stirs it all. That's why I have a problem with that. So you mentioned Russell Wilson about the leadership thing. Jacob Fightmaster on YouTube brings up a good point. Wilson wanted out, and then it seemed he didn't. It was closed door talks, but at least Murray is out in the open about what he wants. So what do you, Jacob, are you saying are you defending Kyler Murray here?
Read that one more time.
Yeah, maybe I'm reading this wrong. He goes, Wilson wanted out, and then it seemed he didn't. It was closed door talks, but at least Murray is out in the open about what he wants. I think that, what do you think he's saying here?
I
could read, folks.
Too.
I'm just saying.
I'm a little confused too. I'm not sure his point. I know what he's saying. Like, yeah, Russ was behind closed doors after being kind of vocal throughout the last offseason about, hey, if they move me, they move me. If they don't, they don't. And then poof, this season happens. He breaks his finger. They stink. And then he gets traded and everything like that. But in Kyler Murray's standpoint, I think it's pretty evident that he wants that contract extension. He wants that contract extension now.
Yeah.
So I'm really not sure what he's trying to say in his
And let's be clear. What Kyler Murray wants, he's not wrong. What Jesse Bates wants, he's not wrong. What Russell Wilson wanted, he's not wrong. Anytime a player wants something, you're not wrong for wanting something. In fact, what I always say is, and this is, I want players that want something. I know that sounds kind of goofy. I want players that want something, and I want players that aren't afraid to go to the front office and hold their feet to the fire. Does it always mean that you get what you want? No. Sometimes it blows up in your face and you don't look like a leader. But I complained about this with the Cincinnati Reds on the baseball front. Where is the Kyler Murray, the Jesse Bates? Where is the player that is threatening holdouts, that is demanding to be traded, that is demanding to be let go? Where is that fire and passion in the players on the Cincinnati Reds roster? It's like they're all content with, well, our ownership stinks, but whatever. Joey Votto, I'm more concerned about TikTok videos and returning home to Toronto than I am actually helping my team win and compete. Like, those are the things that drive me nuts. And although Kyler Murray's driving me nuts, at least he has some kind of fire that is pushing him to demand something from his front office. I wish there was more players like that on the Reds, even though I don't agree with Kyler Murray's approach to this. I like players that say, hey, when I want something, can we get this taken care of? Hold your front office accountable. That's what these players are doing. I just don't like how Kyler Murray's going about doing it. I think he plays the most important position in all of sports, and I think the rules are different for him. And by the way, that's not being unfair. You're a quarterback. You get all of the glory every time a team has success. If your defense is really good and your kicker leads you to a Super Bowl, who gets the credit for it? The quarterback who doesn't throw a touchdown for 7 straight quarters. Yeah, I'm back, baby. That's how it works. So if the quarterback wants to get all the credit, even when it's not their credit to receive, then they have to play by different rules, because they already do play by different rules and they don't get to decide that. That's just the reality of it. So Kyler Murray, show up to camp, or maybe he just doesn't want to play anymore, Kev. Maybe he only wants to play if he gets X amount of dollars. I know that sounds kind of silly, but what I mean is, hey, the game, I'm not going to step 1 foot out on that field until I get exactly what I want. To where Dak loves the game too much, to where he was still demanding things, but he couldn't imagine not being out on the field with his dudes. And that says a lot right there. So we'll see. Jesse Bates, though, by the way, Bengals fans, I have no issue with what Jesse Bates doing right now. The reason I have a problem with Kyler Murray is because Kyler Murray, you're going to get your money. So why are you playing hardball right now? Why are you hurting your team right now when you know you're going to get it? To where Jesse Bates has to do it now, because he knows if he waits another year, he's not getting it.
Right. When
the front office, when front of mind awareness is all about Joe Burrow and all about Jamar Chase and taking care of T. Higgins and taking care of Logan Wilson and taking care of these guys, he knows he's down on the totem pole. he's the best, one of the best at what he does on that roster. Yes, but he knows that position is not valued, and he wants his money now while the team has money, because he knows in a year they're not going to have that money. And that's why I don't have a problem with what he's doing. Kyler's approach is more about safety, I guess, because the way he plays the game. Right. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's also how he plays the game and how they run the game. Like, this is the offense that Kingsbury wants to run too. So it ain't only about what Kyler is comfortable doing. Like, this is what the coaching staff want him doing too. A lot of read option and everything like that. As far as Jessie Bates is concerned, like, this is his only play. This is his only play. Like, he's not a quarterback where, there's a ton of endorsement opportunities and everything like that. I remember that was like the big hot button issue for Dak Prescott. And it's like, oh man, he's got soup commercials and deodorant commercials. That's how he supplements his income. Why does he need more money from the Dallas Cowboys? Which is a ridiculous statement, by the way. But like, his income, his income isn't supplemented by another brand or anything like that. Like, not too many safeties out there get big time endorsement deals outside. Only two dudes I can think of is Troy Polamalu and the Honey Badger. Those are the only guys that, safety wise, I think have like commercials. Like, I don't think there's any other safeties out there that have commercials. Ed Reed has more commercials now that he's done playing and in the Hall of Fame than he did when he was probably the best safety ever to play football. So, like, that speaks volumes. This is the only leverage Jessie Bates has, is to not show up. So if it's either him getting a contract extension with the Cincinnati Bengals or him being traded to another team that's going to give him the contract that he wants and he deserves. Like, this is the only play he has. As Kyler Murray's case, he has a lot of options that he could do. He could not play. He could show up. He could be, I was almost saying red-shirted, but he could be given the contract extension that he wants. He could they can give him a franchise tag, and the franchise tag for a quarterback is way higher than it is for a safety. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of more opportunities out there for Kyler Murray. For Jessie Bates, this is like the only play he has. This is the only card he has in the deck. So
I don't think, now, this is not a shot at Jessie Bates. I think that the Bengals would be kind of silly to invest top dollar into that position, because I don't want to hear how good Jessie Bates is. I'm acknowledging how good he is, but so is T. Higgins. So is Logan Wilson. So is a lot of guys at probably more important positions that kind of fuel the success of the Bengals, and Jessie Bates is a part of that, yes. But I think it's easier to replace a safety than it is to find some of these other key positions that the Bengals are in, which is why I don't think, the Bengals have to decide between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase when that time comes. I don't want to repeat this segment we've done many times. I'm just saying I wouldn't extend Jessie Bates to the dollars he's asking for because of that very reason. Not because you don't value him, but you don't value that position. You don't prioritize that position over other key positions who also are going to be in position to get top dollar. That's why I don't mind what Jessie Bates is doing right now. To where if you're a quarterback, that's a position that will always be prioritized. So there's no urgency to get it done outside of just being impatient. And that's kind of why I can't get on Kyler Murray's side with this. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Nick Foles signs a 2-year deal with the Colts.
Super Bowl.
I found that
MVP,
very interesting. Kind of reminds me of when the Browns signed a multi-year. You don't see backup quarterbacks sign multi-year deals often, by the way. The last quarterback to do that, the backup for the Browns. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Either way, man, welcome back. The rust is obviously here. It's my team, too. Why can't I think of the damn backup quarterback behind Baker Mayfield for the last 2 years? They never used him. Either way. So the last team to sign a backup quarterback to a multi-year deal like this was the Browns, and I always found it interesting because what's the message that you're delivering to a backup quarterback to get them to sign a multi-year deal?
Case Keenum.
I thought it was weird that Case Keenum agreed to be a backup for 2 seasons. Thank you, Adam, on Facebook. Thanks, Kev. Case Keenum. But I find it weird when quarterbacks agree to be a backup for 2 years. And I believe a message has to be given to make you feel comfortable to do that. Was a message given to Case Keenum from the Browns? Was a message given to Nick Foles by the Colts? We'll talk about that. How about this? Ohio State is offering more student tickets. All right? More student tickets than in all of previous seasons. And we're not just talking another couple hundred. No, 20,000. I rounded up a little. Ohio State is offering 19,700 more student tickets than in previous seasons. That means it's going to be harder for common folk like us to get tickets. But I'm going to tell you why this is a very, very, very good thing for Ohio State football home games. We'll get to all of that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 68. Tonight's also going to be mostly cloudy, a low near 50. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 75. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy. Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. N72. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
My friends and I are hanging out this weekend, and I'm on cooler duty.
Well, these seltzers and canned cocktails, they'll make you the king of the cooler.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow, I can fill my cooler without emptying my wallet?
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you stop?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
New message.
What up, what up? It's Heather's cousin. You dated her in college, or maybe you were just in the same class. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat, my man. Let's hit the water. Oh, and Heather told me you always liked snacks and stuff, so I could totally bring some chips.
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them, and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Hey, also, I'm a little short on cash, so can you cover the chips? Thanks. I can see why Heather liked you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Traffic.
Right.
This wagon commute is killing me. You mind if I turn on your old radio?
Oh, this song again. I swear they play the same 3 chants on every station.
At this rate, it's going to take a fortnight to get to work.
Well, just be glad you don't need to fill up. I mean, have you seen the price of hay?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout history, people have always hated to commute. That's why Monster lets you search work from home jobs. Find your job at monster.com or download the app.
Create your ideal backyard this summer with 11% off at Menards. Now is a great time to start building your outdoor projects with the Midwest's largest selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber. It offers the natural look of wood with added protection for your outdoor projects. All AC2 pressure-treated decking and lumber is 11% off right now at Menards. Good through May 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You could unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
If the Oral-B IO electric toothbrush had a theme song, this would be it.
I think you're gonna wanna see this.
Only IO combines Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head with gentle micro vibrations for a brushing experience even dentists have hailed as literally the best brush I've ever used. Get the wow of a professional clean feel every day with the IO from Oral-B, the #1 brand used by dentists.
You're gonna see what everybody's talking about.
Oral-B, brush like a pro.
Stop by Family Dollar and find everything you need to fire up the grill for the perfect cookout. Do more with your summer with Family Dollar.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So a couple years ago, it was interesting when the Browns signed Case Keenum to a 2-year contract. I found that to be very interesting. You don't see backup quarterbacks sign multi-year deals. Every quarterback that is a backup in the league, they don't have aspirations to be a multi-year backup QB. Even though we always view them like Mitch Trubisky, for example, right now, technically the starter for the Steelers, but more kind of a bridge quarterback between him and when they get their real quarterback, right? Whoever that real quarterback is. But there are opportunities like this. This is why you want to stay available. You don't want to lock yourself up to a backup position for more than one season because a situation like this in Pittsburgh could pop up if you're a Mitch Trubisky, right? I think a lot of us still view Mitch Trubisky as a backup quarterback, and I think Kev has spent many hours at nights not, getting sleep trying to convince himself that I think Mitch Trubisky is a pretty good starting quarterback. So
let's be clear. I thought that before he got signed by the Steelers. You check the tape. Check the tape.
I feel bad for you then. You have the worst quarterback in our division. Just throwing that out there.
Quite possibly.
Still make the playoffs. That's what's
quite
annoying,
possibly.
I hate you guys for that. But you don't see quarterbacks sign multi-year backup contracts, and we saw that with Case Keenum. And my big thing was, what message had to be given to Case Keenum, who would still like to be a starter in this league? Nick Foles would still like to be a starter in this league. Mitch Trubisky wanted to be a starter in this league. That's why he was a backup in Buffalo for 1 year. Now, Buffalo is a very good team. Josh Allen's a very good quarterback. Why wouldn't you sign a multi-year backup deal? Oh, yeah, because you want to be available. You want to be flexible. You don't want to be locked up long term. So you're going to go ahead and sign with the team for 1 year. And then look, the football gods move, they rearrange some things. And just like that, Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense for Trubisky to go be a starter. So Nick Foles signs this backup deal with the Colts, the way Case Keenum did with the Browns, to a multi-year deal. And I start to think, were the Browns, who, and many of you out there tried convincing me of this, that they were not sold on Baker, even heading into that year that they made the playoffs, the year that they beat the Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, all that fun stuff. There had to have been some kind of message delivered to Case Keenum that you come here, we'll pay you obviously to be the backup quarterback, but we're pretty confident you're going to ultimately be the starter when it's all said and done. Now, it didn't pan out that way, but you would have to think that something was offered to incentivize this idea to go be a backup for 2 years or 3 years. I think it was a 3-year deal for Case Keenum, to be honest with you. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but it was a multi-year deal. Can you think of examples, Kev, of multi-year backup quarterbacks? Case Keenum with
Colt
the Browns?
McCoy with Arizona.
Is he a multi-year, or does he just keep signing 1-year deals?
It was a 2-year deal. 2-year deal with the Cardinals. I just Googled it.
Okay, good.
I just think like a lot of these guys, like a Case Keenum or a Foles or a who was the one guy? He used to just be a backup ages, man, and he was just like comfortable in that role. His name will come to me.
He's made like $30 million as a backup. He's never started or anything like that. I know who you're talking
Missouri quarterback. He played for Missouri. It'll come to me anyway. But like, I think some of these guys, like, not only do they feel comfortable in that role, but I think the league is telling them something too. Like, we view you as this, and this is what we're willing to give you. And there's a lot to be said about guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these 2-year deals are guaranteed money because they're not a ton of money up front, like, and everything like that. It may be like a 2-year deal for $10 million, and you just want to be settled for somewhere for 2 years. I mean, you know, a lot of these guys are in their mid to early 30s and everything like that. They're not aspiring like young quarterbacks trying to be like, all right, this is my last chance at this, because I believe if a Jameis Winston, this doesn't pan out for him, he'll sign to be a backup, and he'll just basically be cool with that, resign to that fact. And they have families and things of that nature. You bounce around year after year, team to team. You really can't settle anywhere. But a guy like Trubisky, who still like only think Trubisky's like 25, 26 years old, you still got that fire to like, look, man, I can still compete and I can still do this. I think of guys like Nick Foles and Case Keenum, and those guys think like Colt McCoy, I think they think to themselves like, hey, I'm still in the NFL. This is my job, and that's it. And I think they're cool with that.
Yeah. So Chase Daniel, Ron Howard coming through in the clutch.
Look at that.
Ron,
look at
thank
that.
You. But no, that's a good one, Ron. That's who we're thinking. I couldn't think of his name for anything. So this came out just a little bit ago, earlier this afternoon, that quarterback Nick Foles has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Colts, reuniting him with coach Frank Reich, who was his offensive coordinator with the Eagles back in 2017 when he led Philadelphia to the Super Bowl. Of course, he go on to win that Super Bowl MVP. You know, a very similar circumstance here where, you know, Nick Foles realigns himself with the coach that he had the most success with, the way Case Keenum felt about going to Stefanski and with Cleveland. And I think that a lot of times it's setting yourself up in a position to Nick Foles saying, okay, I'm not going to get a starting job right now, but if something happens in Indianapolis where you have an aged quarterback in Matt Ryan and he misses some significant time, I got to go to where I have the best opportunity to play and play at a high level to maybe regain a starting spot back in the league. And if I can recapture some of that magic I had with Frank Reich back when I was in Philadelphia back in 2017, that gives him the best opportunity. But a 2-year deal, I still just find very interesting.
For how much?
I did not say. At least according to this article, it has not shown what he got paid.
Okay, so just for reference, Colt McCoy just signed his 2-year extension with the Cardinals back in March, 2 years for $7.5 million.
See, and then Case Keenum got like $12 million, like $6 a year or something like that, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean, very.
Andy Dalton made $1 million a year as the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys 2 years ago.
See what I'm saying?
And then I think he made $2 million or 1-point-something million
for the Bears,
the Bears.
So when you signed a 2-year, you get a little bit more scratch.
And teams want comfort. They want a comfort zone
exactly
quarterback. So you know what? I should have known. Money.
Exactly. And I mean, think of it from
make this like a hot take. It's money.
Think about it from a Colt McCoy standpoint. I mean, no offense to every other city out there across the United States, but I mean, there's a lot worse places you can go live and play quarterback than Arizona. Like, you get paid $7.5 million for 2 years. You're in Arizona. You got Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback. I'm a vet, married with kids. Life is good.
Is AJ McCarron. Another one.
Yeah.
Another one. John, thank you. But yeah, AJ McCarron is another one. Yeah. And you know what? I went down this little rabbit hole. I started this whole little hot take just to come down to the common sense answer of money. That's why these guys do it. But like I said, I just found, if teams are incentivizing you, hey, we don't want to hit reset on our backup quarterback every offseason. We would like a little stability back up for the next 2 years, because I think Matt Ryan has a 2-year window with the Colts as well, as far as like being still a quarterback that could play at a decent enough level to get them where they need to go. And that's really, pretty much what it comes down to. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Ohio State, as I talked about earlier, very interesting, but they announced that tickets for their students will go on sale this week. Now, approximately 19,700, more than in previous seasons, will be available for the 8 Buckeye home games in 2022. Now, let me reiterate here. I misread that. There's not going to be 19,000 more student tickets than in years past. They're saying there's going to be 19,700 student tickets available, which is more. I just misread. Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports. So I misread that. So that's on me. I can't read. I'm rusty. I've been off for a week. So I misread that. But interesting, though, that Ohio State is expanding its allotted tickets to more students. I'm going to tell you why that's important when we come back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Let's face it, you all have outdoor home projects to do. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil is here to help. As the area's leading provider of processed topsoil, garden mix, animal bedding, and mulch, we cater to the professional landscaper, contractor, and the DIY homeowner. That's you. Buy in bulk, mulch, rock, topsoil, and sand. No matter the size of the project, we can help, and we deliver, often the same day. We also carry firewood, bedding, and fuel pellets. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil, just off I-70 and Route 4 in Springfield. Order online at madrivermulch.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675. Between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. N72. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
The DEA says Dayton is one of the nation's hardest hit places when it comes to overdoses and drug-related violent crime. News Center 7 is talking with agents to give you an inside look at the new operation designed to save lives. Today on News Center 7, beginning at 5.
Carrie Underwood, Thomas Rhett, Maren Morris. On the next Entertainment Tonight, we're backstage for the iHeart Country Festival.
Every single act is at the top of their game.
Next ET, tonight at 7:30 on Channel 7.
When it comes to your credit card, Discover believes in having real people available 24/7 to help answer your questions. Discover, exceptionally common sense.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kim and Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We can talk a little Ohio State football, kind of. So, as I talked about earlier, Patrick Murphy tweeted out that Ohio State announced that its tickets for students will go on sale this week. Approximately 19,700 total tickets are made available to students, Kev, more than in previous seasons. This will be available for the 8 Buckeye home games in 2022. You know, for a stadium that does not struggle. Now, that's not true. I guess last year there were some struggles in filling the shoe. Mainly, a lot of those issues came earlier in the season. We were coming out of the you know what I mean, being locked down, if you will, and really some people not comfortable with large gatherings. I don't know if that had something to do with it. I didn't really pay attention to see if attendance improved as the season went on. I'm sure it did for some of the bigger games. But do you find it interesting that Ohio State is adapting and now giving more tickets to students? You're still making money off these student tickets, but you're ultimately losing money because those seats are usually sold for more money to the general public. What are there concerns about the atmosphere in the shoe? Look, no one's had a bad time at the shoe, don't get me wrong, but I do believe there are way better atmospheres in college football. I don't think it's a hot take. And I also don't think it's a shot at Ohio State either. I just think it's the reality sometimes. I think this is being done to kind of youthen up the lower bowl, if you will, to kind of make it a little bit more of a college type atmosphere. I think sometimes you get too much of the older, richer crowd. The
wine and cheese crowd.
Okay, yeah, you said that earlier. The wine and cheese crowd. They're not as crazy and wild and drunk, and they just don't provide the energy that I think more poor youth would. We have nothing for. We don't make money, so we just look forward to being drunk and cheering on the Buckeyes, as opposed to what yacht we're going to take out the next day. What yacht are you taking out? No, you see my point. The point is, you like that Ohio State's offering more student tickets.
Absolutely, because you know what? Those are going to be the rowdy people. The student section's always rowdy. You know what I'm saying? It's us grown folks that go to the game and aren't happy that Ohio State is only up 21-0 after the first quarter. We should be up 35-0. What's going on here? And then the other part of it is the schedule. Like, obviously, the season kicks off with a banger. Ohio State and Notre Dame. On paper, that's a great matchup. I'm sure that's going to be a good game. And it's a night game. It's a 7:30 kick. So certain people on this show are super happy about it, and others on this show are screaming to the heavens that their dreams have been answered.
Yes. Well, for one, look, I think that this has to be a concern within Ohio State brass, because, by the way, Ohio State is a professional football organization. That's the reality of it. And what I mean by that is every decision they make is a business decision. And this isn't just because, and keep in mind, college athletics, college is not about the students. Let's just be real. This wasn't done because Ohio State values its students. They know we got to liven this up.
Yeah.
This atmosphere at the shoe should be better than what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad atmosphere. I'm not sitting here saying that you have a miserable time at the shoe. I'm just saying that there are better atmospheres and better experiences in other stadiums around college football for less talented programs at that.
Right.
I mean, you can go to, Texas A&M and some of these others that aren't as good of programs as Ohio State, but their atmospheres are better. That's not a shot at Ohio State. I've said that a bajillion times because I know how sensitive the fan base can be at times. So that's the reality of it. This is done because there is enough concern about that, about the lower bowl crowd. Ohio State did this, everything's business related. They're willing to eat money to liven it up a little bit. I don't know, 19,700. I don't know what the actual average number is for student tickets that are allotted every year, but I don't know how many more seats they opened up. Mm-hmm. But still, you're giving away, you're opening up seats that you could have got a much prettier penny for, I'm sure,
right,
than to the students. So, do I think it's a concern? Absolutely not. But it is something when you're as good as Ohio State, when you're talking about the ways to improve the program. I guess if you're talking this would be it. We know how great Buckeye fans are, but at the same time, I hear about this from UD fans all the time. No one out there is questioning the passion and the excitement of UD Arena and UD basketball fans. But I do think the lower bowl fans, y'all are boring as hell sometimes. Some of y'all older fans, I know you've been with them from the beginning. You don't deserve to sit in that lower bowl sometimes when I see. I mean, it drives me nuts. Put some younger fans down there, liven it up a bit. Look how crazy that student section is. The Red Scare, liven it up a bit. The Red Scare, by the way, I don't say liven it up a bit. See, this is why it's a dangerous conversation to have. It's because we're almost taking shots at UD fans and Ohio State fans. That's not really what it is. But I do hear concerns all the time that sometimes there's an older, stiffer crowd at UD games in the lower bowl than, if you had younger fans that just can't afford those, or those are season tickets that they just will not give.
Right. Right.
So I think that, UD, as time goes on, people kind of, it'll what? It'll youthen up a bit. But Ohio State, that's what they want. They're not going to wait for, they're going to lose it on their own.
So my second point, it's about the schedule.
Am I going to get in trouble for
yeah,
that?
Probably.
Here we go.
It's also about the schedule, because you talk about,
That's true.
teams that they play and everything like that. And Ohio State is such a dominant program and team and everything like that. Like, looking at this home schedule, obviously, like I said, it kicks off with a bang, Notre Dame. Then you got Arkansas State, Toledo, Wisconsin. That's just good. Rutgers. Then you got Iowa. That's probably be decent or whatever. But then Indiana, and then obviously closing it out with Michigan. The season starts and ends with a bang. There's a couple murmurs in there in the middle. But, I always said this about college football and college sports in general. The ride to the top is a lot more fun than actual being on the top. Because when you're on the top and you're competing for national championships every single year, like Ohio State, the expectation is to blow everybody out. But when you go into matchups and you're nervous about games and everything like that, you're nervous about, man, we could actually lose this game, man. We got to win this, man. They beat us last year. We got to get them back. Like that just doesn't happen a lot for Ohio State, and especially in non-conference play, or definitely not a lot in conference play, so that feeling of getting up there. So a lot of this has to do with the other programs inside the Big Ten leveling up to Ohio State's level to give us that feeling again and everything like that. I think it's a good thing to bring more students in there. And I mean, let's be clear, man. Just because they're opening it up for students to buy tickets, they'll probably buy the tickets and they'll probably be sold on the secondary market.
And by the way, students trying to make money. Good for them.
Yeah. Let me get a pair. Let me get a pair for this Notre Dame game.
Look, I remember back when students would get a free pair of tickets. When I lived in Van Wert and I went to the Wright State out of the Lake campus, they still do, the Lake campus in Salina. A lot of people would go to the Ohio State campus in Lima. Because you would get those tickets. You would get, so all you had to do, and then people would go. So then they changed the policy. You no longer got the tickets if you weren't a real Buckeye. You had to be a real Buckeye, not a Baron or whatever the hell they are over in Lima. But I'm just saying. But that used to be the thing. People would go to those schools or register those just to get tickets for those games.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So is what it is. But no, this Camp Randall, Wisconsin. You look at Penn State. Ohio State. I don't even think has the best atmosphere in the Big Ten. They have the best fans in the Big Ten. I don't think they have the best I think both could be true. I think you can have the best fan base in your conference, in your division, and not have the best atmospheres. That makes it like Ohio State. No one touches Ohio State fans in the Big Ten, but I also think I like Penn State's. But I think you get a more consistent product from Ohio State home games than you do Penn State. But the atmosphere for big games, Penn State's better than Ohio State's home big game atmosphere. Wisconsin is the same. I'm just saying, I don't know.
That's what I was saying. Those teams that are still on the climb up, they still always hype for stuff like that. They're super hype for Ohio State to come.
Stay hype.
Yeah, they're there, they're ready and everything like that. And it's funny you bring that up. I was having this conversation with my brother. Like, look, before he moved to Las Vegas, one of our bucket list items was to go to every Big Ten road game that Ohio State plays. So we want to get to Minnesota, we want to get to Wisconsin, we want to get all the schools. But now that he lives in Las Vegas, he doesn't know if he's going to be able to make that happen anytime soon. So that is on my bucket list, to go to every Big Ten school for a road game for Ohio State. I've been to Michigan. That's the only one. So I still got quite a few to go.
Yeah. Another one, someone just sent me this too, that people forget about. Nebraska hasn't been Nebraska for a long time, but they said back in the day, Nebraska's atmosphere trumps Ohio State's atmosphere. So again, I think both could be true. Ohio State has the best fans in the Big Ten. It doesn't even come close, but I do think that their atmosphere is not as fun at home. Not as fun, not as great, I guess. It doesn't matter. It's still a great atmosphere.
Crazy.
Crazy, ruckus, whatever you want to say, whatever old man term you want to use. Go on ahead. Rowdy, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so again, good for Ohio State. I like that Ohio State's not doing that whole we're stuck in our ways. We think it's fine. They're making adjustments. Good for them. But to flip that last
word of the day, adjustments.
Yeah, there you
Adapt.
go. A few years ago, if you recall, Alabama, and they get ripped for their home schedule all the time. The best teams that they play, they do on neutral fields.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Saban was having to plead with his student section, can you stop leaving games early? Our guys work too hard to come out in the second half. They're so damn good. They're up by 5 touchdowns in the first half. He was pleading with the student section, stop bailing early. Our guys work too hard to come out in the second half to a half-empty stadium because the students bail. That goes back to what you said earlier. Once you get to the top, it's tough to keep the attention of your fan base. And the reason Alabama's at the top is because of their scheduling model. Their scheduling model is not always the best. It doesn't keep the attention of the fans. So there is that aspect of it too.
Nick, you got to understand, man. You can't sneak. You only can sneak so much booze into the game. By the time halftime comes around, man, you're not getting so liquored up anymore.
Shorts are kind of heavy in the hot.
Facts.
Filled with little booze bottles. Just saying. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 Wing AM. Ohio State, Notre Dame. It's a night game, the way God intended. We'll talk about that next as well.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Perfect air with a personal touch. Get up to $1,000 in rebates on a new Linux system or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Linux system for as little as $132 a month. Call William Brockman and Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today to learn more or visit online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. License number Ohio license number 14911.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV,
you can't be all working up, fight.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Want to see the recipe for the perfect meal? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for great food on the go with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. You'll get our classic Famous Recipe chicken breast that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey dipped, hand breaded, and pressure cooked, then served up with a regular side, a fluffy biscuit, and a drink. This is why our chicken is famous. Get the combo that can't be beat with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freights, new equipment. Call Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
Alex Scott was a 4-year-old cancer patient who wanted to help find a cure for kids' cancer with a lemonade stand. Join Firebird's Woodfire Grill for Lemonade Days, June 10th through 12th. Donate to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation.
The trend of Ohio State quarterbacks not making it in the NFL may continue unless Justin Fields.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, hanging out with you here on 1410 Wing AM. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds. Reds and Cubs coming up later on tonight. 6:40 the first pitch, and 6:10 is when pregame coverage begins right here on 1410 Wing AM. So make sure you keep it locked in here. The Reds have won 6 of their last 10. They are 7-6. They went 7-6 in my absence. As Kev pointed out earlier, the Reds usually they go on these nice little win streaks whenever I leave town. Every time I go on vacation, the Reds go on these weird little runs, and I'm doing my part to help the Reds look like an actual baseball team. So nonetheless, but I guess the Reds are going to have a flurry of activity coming up here that should be announced soon. I'll have that update for you here in a moment before this Reds-Cubs game. So keep that in mind. But it's something to follow, too. The Reds starting to get a little bit healthier. I think that the one reason that they're starting to win more games is common sense. I think that we were so pissed off at ownership that we were not willing to give the Reds the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe they're not playing well because literally every one of their top stars is injured. And that is the case. And that was the case. But me and you and everybody else that was so angry at Reds ownership, this team was not going to get the benefit of the doubt. This is where I do blame the Reds ownership even more for the backlash they got, is because for any other team, if this was any other year and the ownership hadn't made us mad, we would have been able to really understand that maybe they're not playing well because nobody that is worth the damn is out on the field. And I don't think this was going to be a very good team even with everyone out on the field, but I don't believe that they would have won 3 games in the month of April had they had everyone either. So there's that. What is interesting is, as bad as the Reds have been, you look up at the NL Central standings, the Cubs only have, as bad as the Reds have been, the Reds have the worst record in the NL Central, the worst record in Major League Baseball, but there's a good chance, okay, as the Reds get healthier, the Reds could finish with the 3rd best record in the NL Central. Now, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they're a playoff team. They're not. They're not going to be a wild card team. They're not going to be flirting with the postseason. But I do believe that there's a good chance that they finish with a better record than 2 teams in their own division when it's all said and done. But we'll see. But they are getting better as the season goes on, and they're getting healthier, and that's all that matters as we currently sit here. But we'll talk more Reds throughout. All right, back to a little Ohio State football talk. What I found the most interesting, Kev, during this break was the fact that while I was out, was the fact that the start time, the kickoff time for Ohio State Notre Dame was announced. They play on September 3rd. And usually the Big Ten, with the contract that they have with Fox and the Big Noon kickoff, which I hate the Big Noon kickoff. Okay? By the way, good football is good football. I'll watch. We got kicked off Facebook, I believe, for using the Ohio State song. I hate Ohio State, by the way. I just got the red flag for using their whatever. But anyways, so what's interesting is good football is good football no matter what time of the day it is, but it doesn't mean that it can't be better. I was talking about the atmosphere at the shoe a little bit ago. It's not a bad atmosphere by any means. Doesn't mean it can't be better. Ohio State versus the top teams in the country at noon on the Big Noon kickoff. It's not a horrible thing. I prefer it could be better. And that's how I view this. So Ohio State versus Notre Dame getting the prime time under the lights treatment at the shoe that it deserves makes me really, really happy, because I've always been against games kicking off at noon. Nobody gets excited about games kicking off at noon out there. In fact, if you talk to people at Ohio State and some of the bigger programs, it actually throws a wrinkle in a lot of their recruiting plans, because this Ohio State Notre Dame game, they're going to be able to get some of the top recruits on their radar at the shoe at night. You know how tough it is to get top recruits into the shoe at noon. A lot of these kids have games on Friday night. You can't get plane tickets to fly out that early unless you're going to send a personal jet, which we all know the murky waters that exist there as far as personal favors that you do you can't do that. So there's no flights. You're not going to make it into Columbus in time to be greeted by the team, to be able to get the tour beforehand, to get the official visit treatment, right? Putting the game at night, now Ohio State's going to get all their top recruits on the sideline at the shoe to shellac Notre Dame that night, right? Like that's a perk right there. There's more perks to playing at night. For one, some about the atmosphere at the shoe. I think it's a good atmosphere, but I love the atmosphere at night. Ohio State versus Notre Dame at night, to me, is a much better atmosphere than Ohio State Notre Dame at noon. And it's still the same matchup. It's still a powerhouse matchup, but there's something about Ohio State against a Texas, Ohio State against a Notre Dame. Kev, you went to that Ohio State USC game back in the day. That was going to be a big game no matter what. But I think you would agree with me in saying if that game kicked off at noon, it would have felt big, but not as big, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. What game is getting the noon treatment this year that Alabama, Texas is getting the big noon kickoff? Alabama fans are pissed. Texas fans are pissed. They're getting the big noon kickoff. And I got a good kick out of that. I'm like, yeah, because these bigger programs, you can wrap it up in this fancy, you can get a bad gift at Christmas and it comes in this fancy wrapping, but once you get the fancy wrapping off, it's a bad present. That's it. You could put a fancy wrapping on the big noon kickoff and try to promote. It's still a bad time to kick off. I think all these bigger programs love it at night. You like it at noon, though,
I
right?
like it.
Why do you
I like having multiple good games. I'm off of the Northwestern Indiana game at noon because that's a boring game 9 times out of 10. But if you can give me, say,
Tulane,
I'm going to watch it anyway because I'm a college football.
The Bearcats have a gauntlet of a schedule.
If you can give me, just say, for instance, it's the last week of the regular season and everything like that, and we get Ohio State, Michigan at noon. Then at 3:30 we get Alabama and LSU, and then at 8:00 we get Oklahoma and Texas Tech or something like that. And Texas Tech is playing good football at the time. And then at the 10:00 game, we getting Oregon and USC. Like, I'm locked in all single day. I'm not leaving the couch at all. But when you give me mediocre games to start the day off, I'll tune in and tune out, or I'll just leave and then I'll come back home by the time Ohio State kicks off at 3:30 and everything like that. I think you get multiple games. I just think, I agree. Like, for the recruiting standpoint and the hype and the buildup of the game, yeah. And I think that night games provide something that noon games just don't. Like the Ohio State Michigan game, it's always played at noon, so like that's tradition, so people are used to that and everything like that. But people are still getting used to having Ohio State play quote unquote big time matchups at noon and everything like that. So it's a transition. But like I said before when we were talking about this, if the schools are willing to take these dollars from the TV companies and everything like that, then this is the trade-off. Like, this is a trade-off. We're going to control what time the games kick off because we're giving y'all X amount of billions of dollars. So we're going to have the best for what's best for us and what's best for our viewing platform. And I think like it's a good look for, Fox and everything like that. They basically concede the night games to ESPN because they have something that's built up over years and decades and everything like that. So why try to bang your head into a metal door? Let's try to create something new while they're playing Nebraska and Indiana. We're going to show Ohio State and Wisconsin who's going to dominate that time slot. The big noon kickoff.
Yeah, and like I said, would Ohio State, if Ohio State beats Notre Dame at noon or at 7:30, it's still a big win no matter what.
Yeah.
But again, I always view things as me, the consumer, as me, the fan, whether I'm at the shoe or watching or listening. It just to me, my preference is
it's
I'm
bigger.
not trying to wash it and water it down and say that it means nothing if it's at noon. I'm just saying for me, but I think you talk to players. The players don't like playing at noon either. I've talked to some former Buckeyes who have said the same thing. That no, playing we want the big teams under the lights. It just has a bigger game feel. Even the crowd sounds different. The crowd because they've had all day to kind of
a
little bit.
I mean, think about all the disadvantages that college football goes through. Not only the players, but the coaches, the staff, the administration, the fans. Like this. you're a program director of a station that carries Ohio State football. We sometimes are up to the week of games before we know the kickoff time. And that causes a ton of things behind the scenes to make sure that game goes on the air without a hitch and everything like that. So it's a ton that goes into it. Unlike the NFL, where we know every Sunday, 1 o'clock, we're getting like 5 games. And then at 4:30, we're getting like 3 more games. And then we got an 8 o'clock game. Like that happens every Sunday, like clockwork. But us with Ohio State football, we have no idea what the kickoff is going to be. We know that the first game is going to kick off at 7:30, but then the rest of the game, TBA, noon.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
And what's crazy, and I've said this before, when Urban Meyer was at Ohio State, he was all about the primetime games. He wanted games under the lights. That's where you displayed your product under the bright lights, and it had that main event, big fight feel. And that he used that as a tool in his repertoire for recruiting and everything like that. That he was always all about that. But sometimes that would come back to haunt him because he loved Ohio State in the primetime spots, and he got it. But it also made him vulnerable to, I think you get more you get more out of teams at night. So what I mean is, I don't believe Ohio State loses to Purdue that year if they play at noon versus at night. I don't think that year with Dwayne Haskins, when he threw like 70, 80 times or whatever it was, that crazy stat, I don't think Ohio State loses to Purdue if they kick off at noon versus under the lights. I know Ohio State, Iowa that year wasn't technically under the lights, but it was like that 4:30 was that.
Yeah, it was like a 5:30 game.
It was a weird,
very weird.
It kicked off, during the day, but the 75% of the game was under the lights. You got an inspired team. Minnesota this past year, they made it tight in that first half. It was kind of a tight game, tight. It was a tight game, that first game against Minnesota. If Ohio State and Minnesota kick off at noon, like any other time that you'd play Minnesota, but like Ohio State, that's not even a close game. That's how I view sometimes those games make you vulnerable against weaker opponents. That's why last year, I went to the night game. Who do they have as Akron?
Yeah.
I didn't think Akron, but Akron did for the first 3 possessions. Akron scored first. If you remember, Akron was up 7-0 on Ohio State. For whatever reason, you get inspired football from these smaller teams under the lights, and it makes you vulnerable,
especially on the road. On the road. I mean,
exactly.
You think about those games that Alabama lost to Mississippi State, like the cowbells and all that type of stuff. Like they go on the road, they go to these ruckus environments, and like that makes college football, that makes the environment and everything like that. That type of stuff excites me more than, just about anything else when you get those upsets on the road. And you're right, most of those upsets come at night because the crowd has been liquored up all day. The players have been hyping themselves up all day long and everything like that. And when you do get a moment like that, you get an upset victory from a team and everything like that, you get to rushing in the field. That's what makes college football different from the NFL.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Keith Tolliver says, Kev, you are spot on. Keith Tolliver also says, with NIL in college, the game times don't matter as much to recruits.
I think it definitely matters. I mean, look, man, like I know the NIL thing is rubbing people the wrong way and everything like that, but I'm not sure there's a lot of people out there, especially a lot of incoming freshmen, seniors in high school, making their college decision without going to a campus.
Yep.
Like if, let's just say, for instance, Ohio State, their NIL package is worth $1 million, and Alabama's is their NIL package is worth $1 million. They're both worth the same, and you never visit Ohio State. Guess where you're probably going to go? Alabama. If everything's equal, it still comes down to the college visit, meeting the coaches and everything like that. So if dudes out here making decisions without even visiting campus, that's a sore mistake. And that's a recipe for the transfer portal. I mean, like this just is, man, because you're getting yourself into something you have no clue about if you never visited a campus. I remember when OJ Mayo, he's from West Virginia / Cincinnati and everything like that.
That was probably one of the bigger high school shows.
And he went to USC sight unseen. He just called up the coaching staff. Was like, yeah, I'm coming. Well, they didn't even recruit him because they didn't think he was coming. They thought he was going to UC or West Virginia.
That was Tim Floyd, the coach back in the day.
Yeah, he just like, yeah, I'm coming. Huh? Oh, okay. We'll take a top 5 recruit in the country. Come on down.
Well, I think they recruited. I don't think that's not true. They played when they played in that state tournament game. That was that year that they had Bill Walker and him.
Yeah.
And Tim Floyd was at the shot. Because I remember I was in high school at the time, and me and my friends, we would always bring, because we'd always want to sit in the student sections.
Mm-hmm.
So what we would do is we'd bring like a white shirt, a blue shirt, a red shirt, a yellow shirt, and a green shirt.
Blend in.
And we would, I'm still like, we would do this. So we would bring a color. We would bring 5 different color shirts so that no matter what the color of the student section was, we'd be able to put that shirt on and go, blend it with the kid. And right behind the student section was Tim Floyd, and he was there with USC. He was there watching them. But, was that an official? Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know. That's the only reason. Like, I just remember that as a kid because he signed something for me because I thought Tim Floyd was somebody at the time. And now I'm like, hey, he was nobody. But, at the time, they're like, oh, that's a USC coach. I get his autograph at the time, But no, I find that interesting. But yeah, that's that, and you mentioned it already. The one reason that the transfer portal is as crazy and hectic as it is because a lot of these guys had to sign. They had to commit to these schools. Bree Hall, when South Carolina played in the national championship game, we had Bree Hall on, and I remember asking her that she didn't get to really visit. She got to do unofficial visits early on, but she committed just through conversations with the coaches. She told me she never really got to officially do, she didn't get to do a campus tour, if you will. Like close to her commitment. I think she did early on because they were after her early on. So early on in the recruitment she did, but like she didn't get to do that final, on campus commitment thing. She's doing fine, by the way. National champion.
Yeah.
I think she's doing just freaking fine. So
and let's be clear, there's a big difference between an official visit and a visit that you and your parents go on. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You and your parents drive there, whatever. You lodge yourself. You're responsible for feeding yourself. You take a tour of the campus and everything like that. But when they do the official, they're whining and dining you. They're whining and dining the parents and everything like that. It's a totally different experience between an on-campus official recruiting visit. So if dudes are out here or young ladies out here are just going to the best or highest offer without visiting the campus, you already know how that's going to end. And I think that college coaches know that. Like, I think coaches will know that off the bat, saying, well, we really want you to come visit before you make the commitment, because they know, like, if they come here and they don't even see the campus or meet me in person face to face, they're going to leave.
Yep.
Like, that's just, and furthermore, meet the other student athletes on the team, because the student athletes that are currently on the team are going to shoot it to you real. They're going to be like, hey, man, how do you like it here? I love it here. Oh, man, I can't stand it here. Like, that's how you get the real feel from going on a college visit. So I'm not sure if that's really happening like he thinks it is.
Plus, money's so big, I wouldn't be surprised with how corrupt things can get. To use that as a point, hey, we're not going to recruit this kid, but if we know this school's really after him, hell, we'll just offer him more money so he commits to us, just so he doesn't go there. Even if we don't have any plans on using him, it takes him off the books for a year, or it takes him off the market for a year from playing for that team. It's all dirty. You know how dirty things can get. But the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 Wing AM. We'll step away for a few moments. We talked about Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban earlier. How about that? A little NBA playoff conversation coming on the corner. Plus, every week on the Keith Byars Show, we do the Lee's Bucket of Questions. The Keith Byars Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. 5 questions every week for Keith Byars coming from you, the listeners. Good stuff today about, we all know how good of a football player he was, but if football was not his calling, what professional league would he want to play in? He gives his thoughts on Nick Saban against, of course, Jimbo Fisher. He talks about all of these things and more, so we'll have that coming up around the corner as well. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 68. Tonight's also going to be mostly cloudy, a low near 50. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 75. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings, only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Okay, Cincinnati Reds fans, it's time for Roof Truths Triple Play from Enterprise Roofing. Roof Truth number 1, your roofer should be as dependable as your roof. Roof Truth number 2, your roofer should be in business for longer than the life of your roof. Roof Truth number 3, your roofer should live where you do. Enterprise Roofing is a proud partner of the Cincinnati Reds. For all of your roofing needs and to try our roof cost calculator, visit rooftruths.com.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
Sire?
Mm-hmm.
I just graduated first in my class at Stonemasonry School.
I know. That's why we hired you.
Yeah, cool. But I was wondering why all I've been doing is sweeping the floors and providing slop for the hogs.
Well, how else do you think you learned to stonemason?
By stonemasoning, maybe?
How does that make any sense?
Throughout history, people have always been undervalued at work. That's why Monster lets you search salary by major. Find your job at monster.com or download the app.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Summer barbecues in the backyard, game nights, first holiday party. It all happens at home. And we want to help you realize your dream of home ownership. We are the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. And if you're ready to buy a home, we may be able to help. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. OFA makes purchasing a home more affordable. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it a part of your future.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Country Legends, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. When country star Keith Urban first moved to Nashville 3 decades ago, he was known for throwing the best parties.
And somebody foolishly gave us a Polaroid camera, and the fridge would get covered in snapshots of these encounters. All I can say is I'm glad you can burn Polaroids.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You've got bugs. What's your move? A rattly can? Or a simple spritz? Bugs near your kids and pet? Will it be ingredients you can't pronounce? Ew. Or essential oils? Bother the bugs, not your family. Zevo uses essential oils, which attack bugs' biological systems, so Zevo kills bugs, plus is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly. Bug deadly. Now at a store near you.
When it comes to your credit card, Discover believes in having real people available 24/7 to help answer your questions. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car is ready for a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep it looking like new, including Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $5.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $5 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices. I'm firing up the grill for burgers and want to impress the neighbors. This bourbon has a smoky flavor that'll go great with your grilling. Nice. Wow. And look at that price. Well done. I prefer medium rare. Your neighbors will love it. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Let's face it, you all have outdoor home projects to do. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil is here to help as the area's leading provider of processed topsoil, garden mix, animal bedding, and mulch. We cater to the professional landscaper, contractor, and the DIY homeowner. That's you. Buy in bulk, mulch, rock, topsoil, and sand. No matter the size of the project, we can help, and we deliver, often the same day. We also carry firewood, bedding, and fuel pellets. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil, just off I-70 and Route 4 in Springfield. Order online at madrivermulch.com.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Refresh your home this spring with 11% off the perfect door update from Menards. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out. Choose from the best in-stock selection, including pre-finished doors, or design your door your way with our door designer. And get free shipping to the store in approximately 7 days. Right now, all Mastercraft door systems are 11% off. Good through May 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. Get $750 lease loyalty cash on all new Hondas and as low as 1.9% financing on the 22 Honda Pilot and 22 Honda Passport. Remember, we can get the new Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Getting the perfect bite of a KFC hand-breaded 100% white meat chicken sandwich? That's finger-licking good. Order the KFC chicken sandwich in classic or spicy today. Prices and participation may vary.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Driving happy with Febreze car.
You're driving home when, oh no, you hit the longest red light in town. What's this? You're smiling because your car smells amazing. You just installed a Febreze car vent clip. Ha ha! 5 weeks ago, with up to 40 days of consistent Febreze scent, those lights can stay red for as long as they'd like.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything at Menards. Works' affordable prices and innovative outdoor power tool designs. Get the job done right with power and ease. The 20-volt Works string trimmer and leaf blower cordless combo kit is just $99.99 after sale price and 11% rebate now at Menards. Good through May 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
All right, welcome back. I'm Justin Kinner hanging out with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Kev Nash done for the day, and we're about to wrap up here on the show as well. But we do have Reds baseball coming up here an hour from now. 6:40 the first pitch. 6:10 is when pregame coverage begins. Reds and Cubs for the first time this season at Great American Ballpark. And the Reds got a flurry of guys back off the IL today, which is pretty cool because Nick Senzel back in the lineup, Drury back in the lineup. How about Tommy Pham, Joey Votto? This looks like a real lineup. Nick Senzel will lead things off in center field, batting second, and at second base is Drury. At DH and batting third is Pham. At first base, batting in the cleanup spot is Joey Votto, who just hit his first home run of the season. Batting fifth and behind the plate tonight is catcher Tyler Stevenson. Called back up to the Reds and batting sixth in right field is Aquino. Moustakas back at third base, and he'll bat seventh. Almora in left field. He'll bat eighth, and batting ninth will be the shortstop Reynolds with Gutierrez on the mound tonight. And that is your Reds lineup. But again, Nick Senzel, Drury, Pham, Votto, Stevenson, Aquino, Moustakas. Aquino's kind of a wild card there, but I mean, I love this lineup right now. Moustakas, always a wild card as well, but I like this lineup. Pitching's been a problem, but again, they got Tyler Mahle back, so there's some things kind of rolling in the right direction. I did look at this today, and again, sports betting will become more of a thing we talk more about as we get closer and closer, to being able to place live sports bets here in the coming months. But if you place a $1 wager on the Reds to make the playoffs, you win $50. I mean, 50 at just one sports betting. Say just bet $1. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if I could bet legally, I would put $10 on the Reds, and you win $500 if they make the playoffs. You're out $10. Who cares? You're out $1. But the Reds playing a little bit better baseball. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No. But they at least are more interesting than what they were to start. So we'll see how it goes with them getting healthier. All right, that wraps it up for us, at least for me here on this portion. On the other side, we have our conversation with Keith Byars from earlier today with our Lee's Famous Recipe 5 questions, our bucket of questions with Keith Byars coming up. So there you go. That's coming up next year on 1410 Wing AM. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Hey, is this Line Secure?
Franco cybersecurity firm secured a contract, and that's all we're allowed to say.
We have a green light on hiring.